and welcome back to Pia Pops Off, a podcast where I talk about everything and anything, usually pop culture. And today we are on episode number 21. And also today we have an extra special episode because, like I said last week, we are at the end of summer, which has been so much fun. We are now at the Summer House Reunion Part 1. And if you're new here, I have like Shirla and Jaleeza, which are my Bravo besties, my Bravo sleuths. We've been recapping Summer House all season. And in our first couple of recordings, we mentioned our fourth bestie, which her name is Brittane. But she doesn't watch Bravo, so she's not usually a part of our Bravo chat. But we were like, Brittane always has such great takes, instincts, and insights that we just knew she would be able to pretty much read these people without any context at all. Plus, I was wondering if, because Shirla, Jaleeza, and I are kind of pretty much aligned on every aspect of this season and the people that play a part in it, and sometimes that doesn't align with some of the things that we were seeing online. I wanted to know if maybe we're too close to the situation and get an outsider's perspective and see what Brittane might think. So I invited Brittane onto the podcast. It was supposed to be a surprise, but I kind of spoiled the surprise and left her on the email, so they saw it. So that's fine. So they know Brittane is going to be here. But this is what's going to be super interesting. And oh, hold on. I forgot to say, this is the part where it's a Pia Pop Business that I have to attend to. So I should start with that, but whatever. But I invited Brittane to come on and recap part 1. She'll only be here for part 1 of the Summer House reunion. And Brittane has never seen Summer House. Not one single episode. She doesn't know who these people are. She has no context. So she has no bias. She has no teams. She has no allegiance. And she's only going to be basing her opinions off of the reunion. So whatever information she learns from that episode, that is what she's basing her opinion on. So we're going to have her join our group chat along with you guys, of course. And she is going to recap Summer House, the reunion, part 1. But before we hop into the group chat with Shirla, Jaleeza, and Brittane, can you please do all of the things to make this podcast successful? And that would be hitting the subscribe button, making sure you hit that like button and the notification bell so you stay informed every single time one of our new Summer House recaps drop. And also, if you're so inclined, leave us a 5-star review on any of the platforms that you listen to your podcast, along with, maybe a written review. That's also super helpful. Credibility is everything. Receipts are everything. And that, helps the algorithm push the podcast out to more people. So that way we can have a bunch of people in the group chat, which is always more fun. So let's just jump right into it. And let's join Shirla, Jaleeza, and Brittane in the group chat. Hello and welcome back to Pia Pops Off. I am back with my Bravo besties, my Bravo sleuths, Shirla and Jaleeza. Hi, ladies.
Hi. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Summer Fridays. Yay. I'm excited because summer has been really, really fun, even though it's really the beginning of summer for us. But it is the end of summer for our Summer House besties because we are finally at the reunion part 1. And before we get into the reunion, what our thoughts are, any predictions for part 2, I want to kind of take us back like our own mini reunion and go back to our very first recap of Summer House. And in our first recap, we briefly mentioned one of our missing besties, which is our friend Brittane. We mentioned her a couple of times on the podcast. And we kind of mentioned, wouldn't it be funny if we had Brittane, who does not watch Bravo? She used to watch Bravo back in the day, so she does know some references, but she hasn't watched Bravo, and I would say at least 9 years. And she's, yeah, I know. And she, I would say, we can ask her how long it's been, but I would guess, I think 9 years. Because when we started our separate Bravo group chat, that was the reason. And that was about almost 9 years ago. So maybe 8. So So we said that like it'd be funny because we have another group chat with her called Rolling with the Homies, a la Clueless. If you're a millennial, you got that reference immediately. But we were like, okay, wouldn't it be funny because Brittany has never seen Summer House? She doesn't know this cast at all. If we like had her on and we just know how great she is about like kind of like. She's really intuitive. So I was like, I feel like she would get it without even having any context. And if she could keep up with us. So I decided I was trying to surprise Shirla and Brittany and I was not going to tell them. But in our little virtual waiting room, I have our fourth bestie, Brittany, waiting. And she has watched the reunion part 1, but she has not watched any of the seasons. So she's just going to be basing her reactions, her opinions off of solely what she saw on part 1 reunion.
Ooh, I love this.
Can't wait.
Because she has like no history and it's like I just want to go into what she thinks so then we can like kind of go off of that.
And I actually think this is working out so great. So I was actually going to surprise them, but when I sent the invitation the second time, because we had to change the times that we were recording today, the first time I had them on separate emails, and then the second time when I updated the time, I forgot. And so Shirla, the Bravo sleuth that she is, caught it immediately. And in our other Rolling with Homies group chat was like, Brittany's joining us? And I said, oh, shit. Can't get anything past Shirla. I don't even know why I tried. So it's okay. It's fine. I was the one who
I was surprised when I saw her name. Yeah. So I was surprised.
That's all that counts. But let's get right into it and let's get Brittany into the group chat. She's waiting.
She better be waiting. Oh, it does go to 4 blocks.
Look. Oh, it's buffered.
Oh, Brittany, don't embarrass us.
Oh, God.
She just declined us?
She said, nah.
They're going to think that we're making her up.
Does she exist?
Brittany's actually AI.
This is like in the movies where they have to announce the person a couple times, like, into the stage.
Yeah.
There
she is.
Oh, it's only doing audio. Brittany.
Oh, this is ghetto. Brittany. Oh, this is her first time.
Can we see your face?
Guys, it's not working.
Sure, it's not working.
She's actually AI.
It says no options for camera.
Why? What?
I don't know.
What are you on?
Are you on Chrome?
Computer?
Yes, I'm on my computer on Chrome. I was just on a video call. So I know my camera works, but it's not connecting.
Wait, is there a camera at the bottom of the screen that at all? Like a little drop down?
It has like a red flag. It's like, no.
Did you go into your, you might have privacy settings on your Chrome browser that is like flagging it. So you might have to give permission for this site.
I did.
Did?
She's just like literally behind her screen going like this.
Oh my gosh.
I asked ChatGPT and they told me what to do and I thought I fixed it and then it still isn't working.
Okay, let me try to send you a new link. So why don't you exit out of it and I'm going to send you a new link and let's see if that works.
You're not getting out of this, Brittany.
So exit out.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Brittany. My plan is failing already. Okay.
Never to be seen again.
Never to be seen again. Let me. Alrighty. Hold on. I'm going to adjust my fucking shit.
I was waiting for people. Hello.
Hello. I already did that part, so we don't need to do that again.
Oh, you already did it? I missed that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we were waiting for 50 minutes.
We've been here.
I was talking about
first time, you guys.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, welcome back again. Take 2. We had some technical difficulties, but women in tech, we figured it out. And I really felt like that the listeners, whatever, whoever's listening to this, they probably were like, I don't believe that there's a Brittany because like that AI voice was something else, but she's here in the flesh. Hello, everyone. Please welcome Brittany Rowe.
Hello. Hi, besties.
Hi.
This feels
especially
so right.
when she started off with like no picture.
I know.
It was giving catfish.
It was giving.
We're on an episode of Catfish.
It was giving a liar. It was giving Jesse Solomon behavior. Oh, unprofessional.
Not
you getting called. This is insane.
Who that?
It says
got it figured out.
It says Bath, New York telemarketers. I should pick up. Okay, no. I do enjoy talking to a telemarketer sometimes. You know, I like to troll the trolls.
Troll 'em.
Right?
You would.
So officially, I want to welcome Brittany. We've talked about you a couple of times on the pod, and so it's great to actually have you on. Yeah, and we came up like I introed it before you came when you were in the waiting room that we thought it would be funny. We talked about like in our first few recordings that you don't watch Bravo. You used to. I said I think the last time you watched Bravo for real was like what 9 years ago. Would you agree with that?
It's been a minute. So yes, that's probably correct.
What even is that like?
I know, like, I mean, I know you watch, it's not like you don't watch TV, but you don't really watch reality TV anymore, do you?
I mean, I watch certain things. I feel like I get a lot of my content of reality TV on TikTok. So I watch the shorter clips of things, and then I don't feel the need to watch the full episode of things. So that's really the biggest issue, I guess. So I still consume it. I still have like a general sense of certain things that are going on, especially in like the Real Housewives world. That's still like where I kind of touch base. But Summer House, I know nothing.
I love that.
I've never seen it.
I'm so jealous.
That excites me. That excites me so much. So I haven't talked to you at all about what your thoughts were. So this is going to be new for us. And I actually am glad that you're here because I know I saw you, Shirla. I always see Shirla in other comments on TikTok videos about Summer House. And but like, honestly, it's because I'm already commenting myself. And then I'll be like, oh, there's Shirla too. Sometimes I'll just comment on Shirla's comment because I'll be backing her up and vice versa. Because it's like, we want to check to see if our thoughts are aligned with everybody else's general thoughts. And I will have to say the feedback that I'm seeing about part 1 is not aligning for me. And it's in a way that's kind of pissing me off. So I am curious if it's like, if we are too close to it, guys, and we need to step back and touch grass, and is Brittany going to like feel like a lot of other people do about the situation with the, Lexi, Ciara, and Jesse love triangle?
Could we take bets?
Oh, okay.
I don't
have any money, so
okay. Well, okay, not real money. I think that Brittany's gonna align with the audience because of the optics.
Oh, okay.
And not knowing history, so I think she is gonna align with the audience.
I agree. I actually, when I was watching it, I already felt like I was gonna have to fight Brittany a little. And I was like, Pia, don't get chihuahua. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Right. And this is why, because, okay, just for the audience to know that me and Brittany are pretty much the most alike. And so I'm like, I understand Brittany. And then I'm like, I was like, let me just like lead this just in case it goes down a bad pipe because Brittany's gonna be like, I don't care. And it's gonna be like
she really is gonna be like that. It's gonna be like triggering me. I was like,
Pia's gonna be a trigger.
I'm gonna log her off. I'm gonna be like, bye. We lost connection.
Exactly. And
we've seen this story before.
Right. And she literally hasn't watched anything but this one. So
only this one reunion part 1. That's the only thing I know.
I'm going to be like, crinkle, crinkle, we lost connection with Brittany. That's so sad about that. Oh, well.
I'm going to be in the comments when the episode posts like,
try
to get rid of me. I will not be silenced.
I'm on your side, you guys.
The audience is going to be like, I think we also talked about this. Like if we were on a reality TV show and it was like us 4, like you were a part of this, I was like, everyone would like be on Brittany's side. And I like, and it would be so annoying. And I feel like that's what's going to happen with the recap. Like they're like people who listen and maybe don't agree with our like take or how harsh we've been with Ciara. They're going to be like, finally, someone with some goddamn sense. But
Pia, you're leading.
Oh, I know. Sorry, I know. I felt myself leading. Okay, but before we even get into that, I want to connect something else, and it is Brittany's game. We've also talked about your game, Brittany. For those who are not familiar, we talked about Brittany, who is the real CEO. What did Danielle say? She is a
CEO and founder.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
So
Yes,
let us
indeed.
introduce you to a real CEO and founder, unlike Danielle's like fraudulent app. Brittany has a physical card game. It's her merch is behind her, and it's called Hella Awkward, and it is a conversation starter game, and it has many different categories. And Brittany has actually, it's so funny because she doesn't really watch reality TV, but she was just on one, and she was on Shark Tank. And not only, spoiler alert, still watch the episode, but Brittany definitely bagged herself a shark, and no one passed. Also, she got 3 offers and not one person passed. Like, she probably would have got offers all across the board if like they weren't like fighting for her. So Brittany bagged a shark, and her game is like in Target, in Walmart. She's in Macy's. Brittany, do you want to quickly just kind of tell us a little bit about your game?
Yes, thanks, girly. So yeah, Hella Awkward, Build-A-Bay. We make fun games for people to play and to connect, have a good time. Perfect for your girls. Actually, Jaleeza, Shirla, and Pia helped me create the game and test out questions back when we were starting during the pandemic time. So thanks, y'all, for all of your support and help. But yeah, I have a few questions that I was going to ask that are related to the episode.
So
okay.
Is this are we doing Build-A-Bay or are we doing Hella Awkward?
We're doing OG Hella Awkward because I want to start some conversation and kind of see what you guys think. I was inspired by the episode.
I like it.
Just to give a little sample.
Okay.
So in the game, we have 4 categories, right? It's real talk, dating, sex, and relationships. And I was immediately like, oh my God, watching this episode, I need to ask them this question. This is the sex category. And it is, how do you feel about sucking toes?
Yeah.
No,
I hate
not.
I hate feet.
No.
You can suck my toe because I get pedicures.
Right.
I feel like the only reason I don't want that is because I know I have ugly feet. So the whole time I'd be like, this is so hard for you. Like, I feel like I'm torturing you. And
I can also see Pia try to stick her foot in somebody's mouth.
I know, like,
well, her husband's mouth, not somebody. It's like, get in there.
Suck it. Right. I wouldn't be able to enjoy it because I'm like, I know I have notoriously ugly feet, and because I have flat feet, and it's like it's a whole genetic family thing, and it's disgusting. So, you know,
girls, and yes or no question.
Well, it's not a yes or no question. That's the whole point. We're supposed to go on tangents.
Okay,
you're trying to get to know my ugly feet.
No, I'm not. Do not talk about your feet like that.
I feel like you should just show the people. Like,
should we do a little feet sneak peek?
Hell no. Hell to the no.
Hell to the no.
Jaleeza, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely not. No, I'm not putting anyone's feet in my mouth. I'm not. I mean, I don't even I don't know that I would enjoy my toes being sucked. Like, if I had to choose one, I guess. But like, no. Feet are not sexy to me in any way. Mm-hmm. No, thank you.
I didn't even think about it being a possibility that I would have the toe in my mouth. I just thought it would be someone else having my toe.
There's
also that.
Apparently,
there's both sides.
I'm a selfish lover.
Well,
didn't even cross her mind.
Didn't even cross my mind.
I'm definitely not sucking
still pass.
toe, but you could definitely suck my toe for sure. Because my feet are cute.
You do. I have seen your feet. They are nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do I suck
not
it?
necessary.
But I feel like the majority consensus is a no.
It's a no for me, dog.
We all know.
Some people have like fetishes around it, and I just never understood it. Like, I don't even want your feet close to me.
No.
Like, even with socks on, I'm like, okay, let's create a little boundary. Let's have some space here.
Oh, please,
but
Brittany.
It's a hard no. I could put my feet on you, but I don't want your feet
That's
on
what
me.
I was just about to say.
Yes.
I was like, Jaleeza.
But I don't like your feet or anyone's feet on me.
Correct.
Like, no, thank you.
Okay, well,
in my mouth?
No. Well, I feel like you're also then a selfish lover because you will put your feet and leg all over everybody. Like, actually, it's so funny enough. Jaleeza, Brittany, and I were the original, and like Shirla, but like Jaleeza and Brittany and I used to live together in New York. And we were the original bedbugs because we would just watch TV in Brittany's like big king size bed, but Brittany would. Yes, Brittany would like literally.
Brittany would have to put her feet on you.
Yes, she had to, and I'd be like, Brittany, can you please get your fucking feet off of me? And she was like, and not only does she put it on you, she like taps it. She's like, I can't. I have a medical condition.
Oh my God, I remember
the syndrome.
She's like, I have resting foot syndrome, and I cannot
restless
control
leg
it.
syndrome.
Oh,
restless leg syndrome. It's a real thing. Look it up. Look it up.
I'm sure it exists, Brittany, but you don't have it. It's okay.
It's just a version where it has to touch you. It's not just restless on its own. It has to
right.
against you.
And then it only feels like settled if I'm like touching other people.
What are you doing with your foot now?
Oh, it's like just a little on myself. I just, you know, put them together.
Yourself now?
Yeah.
Seems like you can control it because it's not like you're like flailing in public for me. Seems like you can control it.
Well, it's just nice. I'm just trying to connect with my friends, okay?
Okay. Through your feet? Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, one more question. This is also inspired by the episode. So, sex card, what do you think about your partner discussing your sex life with their friends? Are we for it? Are we okay with it? Do we participate in it? Are we against it? What do we think? Pia?
Actually, funny story. The first time that I had a little fun rendezvous with Sean, my fiance, was he was roommates with one of our really good friends, Tyler and Michelle. And I like had, we did like, I think it was like the first time after like having a date, we like hooked up. And because Tyler and Michelle lived together, instead of like me like going home, I think Sean had like left to go to the gym. I just like went and was like hanging out with Tyler and Michelle, and he didn't know that I was still there. And Michelle stepped out. So I took a nap in her room and I closed the door. Sean came back and I heard him talking to his roommate about it, and he did not know I was home. And I was like, but luckily it wasn't bad. Like it was like good. I was like, but my heart fucking dropped. I was like, oh my God. But then I was also like, I was like, should I stop it? Or do I really want to know? Because this is early on. So it's like, I really want to know. And I want to see how this person is when he doesn't think I'm around. And then so then I waited and, I let them kind of really get into it. And it was nothing disrespectful. It was just like, it was fine. So I think if I hadn't heard that, I would initially be like, no, because I'm a pretty private person. But as long as it's like, you're not like being disrespectful and it's just like, normal, then maybe it depends. But I did open the door really quick just to let him know I was here, and his heart sank, and he was like, and I was like, and we've been together ever since.
After?
He was just like, oh, hi, I didn't know you were still here. I was like, yeah, I'm still here. But he didn't say anything bad, so he knew like it was fine. But it's just so funny, like. His heart dropped just as much as mine did when I was like not sure what was gonna happen. Ooh, child.
I don't know if I would like that.
I know you wouldn't like that. What do you mean you don't know?
Yeah.
We know.
We know.
Yeah, I'd be like, why are you guys talking about this? No. It's a no for me, dog.
Jaleeza?
Yeah, I mean, I'd prefer not. I think if it's respectful, then like that's one thing. Like if you're just like telling everybody all our business, that's an absolute no. But right, men talk, so as long as it's respectful and they're talking kindly, then whatever, I guess it's fine.
Yeah.
I think early stage dating, I don't mind it. Like we all have talked about our like hookups and like little dates and early stages of that. Like that's totally fine. But I think once you get into like a more serious relationship, it's better to just leave it alone and kind of keep that private, because I don't want to be with my husband's friends and they looking at me like, oh, I heard about y'all doing X,
you're on their second toes, Brittany.
I heard it. Y'all second toes over there. No,
right.
you.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, I feel like everybody then is like comparing comparing and be like, well, this is what they be doing. Why aren't
Yeah.
you doing this and all that
Why
stuff?
don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Yeah, no, thank you.
I agree. And I think that is like the stark difference from that story I told is like that was like so early on. We weren't official. It was in very early stages. But I don't even know why it would come up in like now, like 8-9 years later. Like why are we talking about, especially since I don't know. It's just like I don't talk about it with you guys. And I tell you guys pretty much everything. I don't know. I just don't think it's that. And I also don't really like to tell too many things about my relationship just because I do think that there should be like a bit of a boundary and a protection of that. I'm not saying to like be secretive or hold stuff from your friends, but I do think that you do need to create like a little protection for your relationship, just like I do for you guys.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Which makes it interesting in that's why that was such a great question, because like what happens, and this is why we would never do reality TV, but like the reality TV people, like there is one, scene for the finale where Jesse's like, we're on a reality show. I have to talk about our relationship. But still, I still think it, in other reality shows when people who are like in marriages are like, I don't want to talk about everything because I want to protect my marriage. So there are just like two sides of like every coin for like every reality TV star, but that's like interesting what they have to feel the need to talk about and what they should keep sacred.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, I feel like I feel like a lot of people have very harsh opinions like one way or the other about it. Like I feel like people are like, well, if you're on reality TV, everything is up for grabs. That's what you signed up for. I don't care if you're in a marriage, like then don't go on a reality TV show. I don't feel that way. I do think that you need to share things, of course, but like honestly, I do think that there are certain things that you should try to protect, but you can still be entertaining and still honest about things. Just like, for example, when Carl and Lindsay broke up, we've always said it's not about the breaking up, but it's about how he did it. And I think that he should have, for respect of that relationship, he should have had that conversation off camera. Then, because they are on a reality TV show, call the cameras to pick up to talk about it and then like discuss it and then cue us in. But the initial conversation, her not knowing that he was going to end their engagement on camera, to me seems wild.
Brittany doesn't know that.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, so hell Lindsay, no. Don't be embarrassing me.
Lindsay, the one that was in that purple and her boobs looked great.
And she was blonde bob.
Blonde, short bob. Mm-hmm. She was so her and Carl, who's like who was sitting next to Ciara at the reunion, they had been best friends for like 10 years. So they were one of the OG casts. And they were best friends, and then they decided to date actually twice. The first time it didn't work out. Second time it kind of did. They got engaged. He then started, they just weren't a good pair.
Yeah, they were. He's newly sober. She's an explosive person by nature. And the house didn't like her at the time. Did not
like her at all.
And it was just it was just not work. They should have stayed friends, essentially.
Yeah. But then he was just like looking for reasons to blame her and why it wasn't working out and why he basically wanted to cancel the whole thing.
3 months. Hold on, Brittany. Destination wedding. 3 months before the wedding.
Yeah.
After she gave her deposit.
Yeah. So the season ends. And then he calls the producers to pick back up the cameras to film him telling her that we should call off the wedding. Yeah. And meanwhile, and this is just like telling you the type of Bravo audience. The audience, which is mainly women, but other women, they were like, because they didn't like her, they're like, she wasn't blindsided. She deserved to get dumped. And like, why is she so upset at him? And it's like, what do you mean?
Hello, that's so rude.
Exactly.
That's crazy to do that publicly. It's like, are you trying to shame me? Like on purpose?
Thank you.
Like if things went sour in the relationship, regardless, we had a whole history of a relationship, a friendship. At least have some respect to talk to me separately. And then if we say, you know what, maybe we should share this with the cameras, we decide together. Yeah. And then we could call the cameras.
Yeah.
But no, that should have been a conversation privately.
Yeah.
At least to start. Like, my goodness.
Yeah,
You're about to get married.
Exactly.
Yeah, because like to like that. So that's my whole thing. It's like there has to be some type of boundary, even if you're on a reality TV show. I don't agree with just because someone signs up to be on a reality TV show, that means that like they no longer get to have any privacy. They no longer get to like that. I don't agree with that. Like, we have to be a little realistic. And also, I don't understand, like, why would you not want people to have full lives? Like, I don't want to see a destruction of someone's life. Like, if you need to have like some boundaries, but you can still be able to entertain me, which both of them do very well, I don't need to see these type of moments. But, you know, I obviously, because we have been along for the ride, yes, I do think you need to address it at some point, but I don't need to see it happen in real motherfucking time. No, thank you.
No.
Unless they both agreed upon that, then that's fine if there's consent.
But then that's a conversation that happened still off camera to agree to that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know.
So yeah, that's Summer House. and then the next, so this is the next summer, them after that happened, them sharing a this
whole season picked up on that. So if you didn't realize, after all that happened, now you have these two exes in a house, summer house, all summer. And Lindsay at the time was pregnant.
Oh, because they kept being like,
her new man's baby.
Yes.
Oh, so this is the new boo.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So that's as much context as I'm willing to give you at the moment. So let's just start it off, because I really do want to, as we go, not have give her too much context, so we can see what her reaction is before and then after we give her context. So we open up with Andy Cohen in his white robe walking through to the set of the set is dressed at the most epic party that we voted on last week. We think our favorite party of the season, Snooze Fest, hosted by the Bedbugs.
We said Lindsay.
Oh, you're fucking right.
we said they had the best decor.
That's what we said. We said they had the best decor, but that's the one we would want them to do annually.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
So sorry, my bad. But yeah, so they. I really love this. I love that theme. I want them.
It was really nice.
Yeah. So they have the set dress as a big bed. I like that they had the little mini headboards too for everybody's chair. So that was really cool.
Yeah. I wish they were really in beds.
Okay, Amanda.
Right. I was like, she's onto something. I like that idea.
Well, just us laying down. I don't know if that would be camera-wise, if that would be feasible. I think I would get jarred. Like vertigo.
Especially angles.
Like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
The angle.
Piled up in the beds.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's a better visual. Okay. That might have worked. But then their outfits, we wouldn't have been able to really see them.
We wouldn't have. No.
I was kind of annoyed that they didn't tell them that there was going to be a part that they could walk and keep their shoes on.
Yeah, all of them walking out with their shoes. I was like, is that a thing? Or I was so confused.
Right, because I was like, oh, it's a bed. And then I was like, no, there's a part for them to walk. So I'm like, why wouldn't you guys tell them that?
It was so random.
It was so random.
Everyone with their shoes.
Hi, Andy.
So cute. And then they have to put their shoes on.
I know.
Dresses be tight.
Right.
Speaking of dresses, quickly, I wanted to get your guys' take on what you thought of the fashions. Like, what do we think about the reunion looks? Brittany, what did you think?
I don't really know anyone's names, but homegirl, the black girl that has the little
braids,
cute braids.
Ciara.
I loved her outfit. I thought that looked so good on set.
Interesting.
Loved. I thought it was super cute, flowy and cute. Also, I felt like homegirl that had the titties out with the big asymmetrical dress.
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Oh yeah, yes, Lindsay.
I felt like the shimmer, it was too much of the bronzy shimmerness, and I felt like the colors clashed.
Okay.
So it didn't quite work for me. And then the other girl that had the breakup, they kind of ended on
Paige.
Lexi. Oh, Paige.
Major Lexi.
Wait, where was she sitting? Was she first?
What color hair?
Fourth, maybe?
Oh, Lexi.
Okay, so Lexi.
Yeah, Lexi. I thought her dress was cute. I liked her dress. I felt again, the makeup was maybe a little too heavy. It's hard to balance makeup on the reunion episodes because they always, of course, want to be full glam, like, of course.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, the cameras are so, like, in your face. Light is so harsh.
They had very bad lighting.
Yeah, you have to be so careful about the makeup. So I felt like the light was just a little too harsh for her makeup and how it was. So maybe they can adjust for next season or whatever. But yeah, those were my initial. I didn't really love the dress for the other girl at the end, the other black girl,
Gabby.
Gabby.
That was actually one of
Brittany, I'm gonna just tell you this: we're not aligning. We're not aligning.
I didn't love it. I didn't love it. Like, because it was like the two boobies. I didn't love it. I was like,
she's just a fashion queen.
Okay. Shirla, did you hear Brittany? Did you hear? Did you hear Shirla? She said, "You gotta go.
you need to leave.
You need to leave.
You need to leave." It's already starting off that.
Okay,
this perfect.
But I kind of like it because like there's somebody who's disagreeing.
I completely couldn't disagree with you more, Brittany. And I'm gonna have to tell you why.
Okay,
you're just wrong. I'm kidding. It's so funny because I actually would have said the worst dress for me, which is I was actually surprised by. I would have put money on she was gonna be the best dress. Was Ciara? I did not like her dress, but you know what it is. She typically, for me, is one of the standouts when it comes to fashion, when it comes to her looks. I always usually love what she looks like. And I don't know, I wish I had like imagery or pictures I could show you of her other reunion looks. I thought this was
last year.
Yeah, I thought this was the weakest.
Really
and also, yeah, because like, again, this is your first time seeing her. So like for me, I didn't even feel like this was Ciara. Like I was like, who is this? And it has nothing to do with like, I actually really love her braids and I like kind of wish she had them all summer. But like, I didn't like her makeup. And I didn't like her outfit. I don't know. I didn't think it was doing anything for her. And I maybe just because I do have such high standards for her. So maybe I would have felt differently if she like, just to me, just that's what she's known for is her. She's a model too, by the way, like an actual model.
She's
like,
gorgeous.
She is. She's beautiful, but I don't know. Like I just was a little disappointed. I thought she was the worst dress for me.
Oh damn! I didn't go that far.
Oh wait, actually, I was between her and Lexi.
I didn't like.
I was between her and Lexi as the worst dress
for me.
I also did not like Amanda's. I felt like Amanda's.
Which one is Amanda?
She was the one that was.
That's right.
And her hair was like slicked back, like looked
like what?
Oh
yeah.
And also somebody showed the actual designer dress.
With the black
it comes with a bow, and I just felt like it looked generic to me. So I would say Amanda was probably my worst dress.
I thought that was her best dress for her though.
Yeah. Well, Amanda typically does disappoint in the reunions, but like she's like very casual. Like her style is very casual chic. Like she can basically make a t-shirt look good.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to like reunion dresses, Pia's right. She doesn't really. That's why she's my worst dress. So
I felt
formal. Wow.
Yeah. And then I know a lot of people online hated Paige's. I didn't hate it as much as
I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it either.
I
didn't hate it, but people like hated it. Yes.
Yeah, with the dark hair and the green.
They hate like people like hated it. But I guess I think it's because she is like out of like all the girls. Ciara and Paige are literally the fashion girls. Like that's their whole thing. That's how they make a living too outside of Summer House. Like Paige does the Amazon Live. She did a collab with DSW. That's like her thing is like putting outfits together. So I think that what my perception and what the audience perception for Paige is like, we just have such high standards for them that like I think we might be judging. She never
meets them though, so that's why I just so like, and not to just like, I just feel like she, in terms of being dubbed the fashion girl, like Gabby's the actual. I don't hate to say actual because I don't want to pit two women against each other, but like Gabby works in fashion, studies fashion.
Yeah.
Like, she is like the typical New York fashion girl. So like she'll take extremes and she like takes risks. That I think that's where I want to get at. Like Gabby takes a risk, whereas I feel like Paige loves a set.
Yes,
she loves like classic.
She's shoppable.
Like commercial.
She's commercial. She's shoppable. She's not, I don't want to be like rude, but kind of, she's off the rack. And and Gabby is couture. And and I thought Gabby was one of my top as well. So that's you didn't like Gabby's. Gabby's was the other black girl at the end. I actually thought this was her best reunion look, and I loved her cunty little bob.
Yeah,
I love the bob.
So cute.
Yeah,
the bob I love.
I just like the top was cool to me. Like I think that's what I mean. Where it's like where she takes a risk, where it's like you could either love it or hate it. You're never going to be like lukewarm about what she wears. So I appreciate her like taking a risk, which is like pretty cool.
I would actually say Lexi is dead last just because hers was giving prom.
Yeah. It was really giving real club.
Yeah.
It was giving
early 2000s.
Yeah, it was giving real promy. See, out of the sequence was giving real.
It was giving
straight butt crack.
It was giving cheap.
Oh, I liked it. I like the butt crack. Butt crack is in, honey. Give me a peekaboo, okay?
But
Brittany is correct. It is in, but it's like she didn't do anything. I guess, what I can say that I like about Lexi is that she is who she is. And she will not stray any different. Okay?
Which is funny because I'm acting as if she's also not a model. Because I'm sitting here like, well, because this is why they're models, and she's actually a model as well. Like she, she not just like an Instagram, like that's how she was scouted. She used to. We saw her on the shoots during the season and stuff like that, and whatever. But I don't know, it wasn't giving to me. It wasn't giving.
Yeah,
I expected a little more.
Yeah,
I agree.
I liked what she wore on Watch What Happens Live. That like I know that didn't fit the theme, but that like red 2-piece set that she did, where it was like she had her abs all out. That I even liked more than.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah,
couldn't tell you. But I mean, the guys I don't even like. They just all look generic. The worst I can just tell you, the worst dress was Jessie, and it's not because whatever. The worst dress was Jessie for me. I'll say that's. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it fucking there.
All right.
But let's really get into the part 1 reunion, and Andy does all his intros, but I watched the intros twice because I was like, did Andy, after like going like one by one to everybody, not intro Jessie or Gabby? I swear I watched it twice to see. He literally went one by one to every single person and completely skipped Gabby and skipped Jessie. He even mentioned Imrul was going to come in later. Like as soon as he says Imrul's going to come later, and then he goes straight into Paige.
You're right. He was like, hi guys, and he was like, welcome to your first, reunion, Lexi. You're correct.
Yeah, like he literally he does not. The first time he skipped was like he went down the line, and he went to Lindsay. Then he literally sitting next to Lindsay is Jessie, skips over Jessie and goes straight to West. Then goes across and then goes to Lexi. Mentions Imrul will come later and goes to Paige, and Gabby is just does not her
left out.
Yeah, so those two were left out.
I just hope that was editing.
That's weird.
That is very weird.
I mean, Andy's been doing this for years. Like, you don't unintentionally do that. Like, it's literally a cue card. You see him reading. It's like, okay, and now we have like, weird.
I was like, I had to watch it twice. I was like, okay. But
not nice.
I know, right? I kind of felt bad. I didn't feel bad for Jessie just because I know that Jessie's going to get a lot of airtime because most of the whole drama this season was surrounding him. So I was like, whatever, that's fine. Maybe that's why he kind of skipped him because they're going to spend so much time on Jessie. But Gabby, like that one made me mad because of the running theme that we felt with like a lot of like with Imrul and with Gabby just feeling like they've been edited out and like they legitimately did it in real time in that moment, and that bothered me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Gabby, I introed you for Andy, so there you go. But Andy starts with Paige, and we just like get right into it because like everybody really wants to know what Paige's thoughts are on the breakup with Craig, and Paige is like, everybody is feeling like Craig is saying that he was not that he was blindsided. How do you feel about that? And she said, Andy, like literally, this isn't something new. Like Craig and I had been like going through it for the past year. And our breakup wasn't the first time we broke up. We had actually broken up February of 2024. But this is the problem, Paige. We didn't know that.
Right.
Like, you never even alluded that there was any like problems to that degree where you guys had a full weekend that you were broken up. But it is great information to have because it just confirms Craig is a fucking liar. But
we knew that.
Yes, like, but it just reconfirms it.
But this also just kind of goes back to like what we said in the beginning of just like, even in the beginning of this recording, we're saying like, you know, how some marriages or relationships, you keep things sacred. Yeah. But I think what the issue, and we brought this up before with Paige and Craig, is that they played this part of being the perfect couple, that nothing happened. And so now you're coming. We all knew that Craig was a liar because, by the way, Brittany, Craig is on a different show on Bravo called Southern Charm. So so they are on two separate shows. So basically this breakup is playing out and their relationship was playing out on two separate shows. But we knew he was a liar. And then when Paige and him got together, Paige was trying to convince us that he's not a liar. So then now that they're broken up, she's like, he's a liar. And we're like, well, we try to tell you that. But now the audience is against you because you were convincing us that this was a good man.
Yeah.
So like this is where that Paige is like hitting like where the audience has well, not us though, because we're not idiots. We would never side with a Bravo man over a woman. That's ridiculous.
Ever.
But like this is where the audience is having a tough time with her because she just like, Andy, why would you even believe this? And it's like, you've been telling us to believe this for years.
Yeah. So, and she, before they cut the after show off, like no one knows why, because they do after shows after the episodes, but for some reason, Brittany, they just like stopped doing it. We have no idea. We kind of think that Craig said a cease and desist because he don't want to be talked about anymore on this after show.
He's also a lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he did it.
But she does address that part of it is her fault because she did put this like persona that they are this perfect couple. So now that she's finally like kind of spilling the beans and letting us know that where the cracks were. I will say that we did get a clearer picture over the course of the season. So that's why Andy also was like, well, we as a viewer, we also did see that you guys had problems. And because this was the most open you had been on camera about your relationship. So it also wasn't aligning to us because you guys talked about it way more than we thought you were going to talk about it on camera. And she was like, I know.
Yeah.
And even with that, like even with all the things, like her intention was still not to have it be like, you know, Team Paige, Team Craig. But I think she said something like, but Paige just wasn't going to he said Paige said Craig was just not going to let her go that easy. And I like, that kind of hit me. I was like, I actually agree with that. Like, because the way that he, like, you want to talk about Lexi going on a press tour? The way that man was, and having Austin speak for him, like pretty much making it seem like Paige cheated on him when he could have just like been like, oh no, it was like a mutual breakup. I'm still a little hurt. I don't want to talk about it. Like that's some evil behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it was shocking to me too, just to kind of hear about the like engagement ring fiasco.
I
was like, wait a minute now.
See, that's something that, so when we say Craig is a liar, like that was like we all, including the cast, believe it was just a tactic for him to try to emotionally manipulate her into staying. But the thing is, Craig is the type of show off that if that man had a fucking ring, he would have been, there would have been a picture. He would have been showing it to everybody. And the fact that no one has said that they've seen this a picture of the ring, seen it in person. And also they bring up a point that like Craig never asked Paige, who was very like family oriented and close to her family, like her dad's permission. Cause I feel like they're very traditional in that way. And he would have known that. It's all telling, which is, I think Shirla, like last recap or maybe the recap before that, you were like, I wonder if he asked Paige's dad. And so I was glad that got brought back up to be confirmed. No.
That he did not.
Yeah.
And also too, Hannah didn't even know. And that's her best friend. So
yeah.
it's like, sir.
No, it was nobody made up to me after just knowing them for 10 seconds. I was like, oh, that man made that fully up. Like, please. And then he returned it on that day that he filmed Watch What Happens Live. Like, please. Like, come on.
I also was pissed.
Convenient.
I was pissed that Andy cut her off because she was like, I know his tells. I wanted her to tell us what that was.
That's
so we can see
girl.
That's actually a good point. Like, oh my God, that is actually a good point. Because you know what that reminds me of? When, because the same thing happened with Ariana and Tom Sandoval on Vanderpump Rules, Brittany, when they broke up, when it was Scandoval, she was like, when they were at the reunion, he wasn't able to win the argument like he typically would in past like reunions, because she pretty much broke the fourth wall in their relationship because they were no longer together. She was like, oh, baby, I'm telling everybody all your tactics, your secrets that you told me over the years that you do during these reunions to throw people the fuck off. And to your point, Shirla, Andy should have taken that as an opportunity to say, elaborate, spill. This is your moment.
Right.
And Andy, this is like my problem with Andy. And I feel like that's why he does need to maybe pass the baton off to someone else, because he is too close to these people, and to the point where sometimes I feel like he doesn't go as deep as we need him to go. And this is another moment. Like, why you are seasoned, Brittany, like you mentioned. Andy is seasoned. That should have been a layup. That should have been the next motherfucking question. But
he likes Craig, so he's protecting him.
Exactly.
I mean, he still protects his favorite.
And that's the point, Pia.
And it's one of the benefits of them being on different shows, right? With them being on different shows, he's not right in front of her to like have this dispute. And so Andy's just like, we'll just keep moving forward, even though they spent how long talking about Craig being a liar on his own reunion.
Yeah.
True.
Which
the same montage.
Yes, Brittany, because again, like we said, this is not a new concept, a new thing. This is something that Craig has been accused across Bravo platforms of being, like on his show, on their show, on everywhere, every which where. And it got brought back up on his show on during their reunion that had finished about a month ago. And he keeps to this goddamn day saying that he has never been caught lying or doesn't lie. And Andy has said, yes, you have. We've played it in the past. And he's like, Andy, no. And Andy said, I've taken the liberty to put together a montage of you lying.
They did a montage.
Right. Can you imagine being hit with a montage of all your lies?
Like, you lying?
After you said, and you know what they should have, the editor should have added that moment in of him saying, I don't lie. And it's like, another lie.
Another one. Another one.
Another one. A lie counter.
And he literally, like, he watches this during the reunion in real time, cuts back to him, and he's like, I can explain that. It's like I can't.
That
I can't.
is hilarious.
And
dang, sorry, girl.
These Bravo men drive us mad.
Yes,
of course. They're messy.
But
they're so messy.
I do like that Lindsay took the opportunity to be messy, because like she's besties now with Paige, and she was like, and another thing, he also, like, she's trying to imply that Craig lied and said that Paige, you're the one who asked him to buy the ring. And I was like, thank you. Let's not forget, he also tries to put that the whole reason why he bought a ring, because he's trying to like layer on that he's the blindsiding of it. Like, why would you break up with me when you're the one who wanted me and asked me to get this ring? And Paige has from the beginning said that she's not ready to get married. So this is like she has been very vocal about that. He has been the one trying to pressure her into this situation, and they don't live in the same state. So that's also a thing.
Yeah. And so he lives in South Carolina, and she lives in New York.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So I was living in Charleston. I'm sorry.
But it was nice to finally see like Lindsay and Paige be on the same side and like being able to back each other up in these moments, because Paige and Lindsay is the one with the symmetrical dress, and Bob that you like, Brittany. They were mortal enemies for this entire run of Summer House, like bad, vicious, like
it was a one-sided beef, Pia.
It was for the most part, but there are moments. I have to admit, there are moments where Lindsay and Lindsay would argue with Paige, but Lindsay would let it go. Paige would never let it go. So I would say it was mostly a one-sided beef. Kind of.
Sure. I feel like the only time that I can, you would have to let me know, but and Jaleeza, keep me honest. I feel like
keep me honest.
That don't keep me not a Craig. The only time that Lindsay really went after Paige was when Lindsay found out that Paige was talking behind her back. and then she yelled at her for that.
Yes.
Other than that,
was that the Christmas party?
No, it was
she had that. She had a
the
Santa
red
outfit on, didn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the 4th of July when they're all in red, white, and blue.
Maybe.
And she was like, "Stop yelling at me." She's like, "I'm not."
Yeah, like that was like the only other time, because like all the other time, Lindsay has told her about her boyfriend basically kissing other women. She knew the tea about Kyle cheating on Amanda, and then the whole Austin Ciara situation. So like all of that stuff.
Yeah, okay, you're right. It was Paige. Okay, you're right. It was a one-sided beef. It was
living her life.
That's
truly living her life
along the way.
Well, that's a problem with her. That's a problem with Amanda, Paige, and Ciara, is the fact that they'll have one argument with Lindsay, and that argument will be the same thing that they're harping on for like legitimately 6 years. So it's like, we're having the same argument for 6 years. There's nothing new had been added to it. You're just like still mad about the same fucking thing. And I'm like, I don't. But Lindsay is like, okay, we yelled and we had an argument, but like I'm over it. She's like, Lindsay's the type of person that can argue with you and like take shots with you in the next breath. Like she got it off her chest and she's done. But the other girls, they're more of like, I'm holding a grudge, which is one of my issues, like especially with when we get into the Lexi of it all, of how they're kind of treating Lexi, specifically Ciara. So, but
Brittany's favorite.
I'm like scared. I'm like honestly really nervous when we get to that part, but you know, we need to hear it though. We need to hear, because we said that we like to hear other perspectives, but like, oh, also I do like that that Kyle chimed in and said that you can't return the ring, and also that's how Andy starts asking Carl, what happened to the ring that you gave Lindsay, and then Paige like chimes in and she's like, that's the one. That's the ring that Craig was trying to give me. And I was like, they are really good at breaking tension, which is why they're really great reality TV stars. Because it's like they could be talking about the craziest and really emotionally charged conversations, but they do. Paige and Lindsay specifically do know how to like kind of like soften the blow and break the ice and be able to like turn the conversation into something else, which I really appreciate. Amanda and Ciara do not know how to do that, and I get very uncomfortable anytime actually Ciara is speaking, to be real. No, because I do. If she does not like you, I can feel like how much she like does not like you. And she's like, there's nothing you can do. And so
that's unfortunate.
That makes me so uncomfortable, because it's like I'm watching like it, and I've seen this happen with a lot of different people. I'm like watching someone try to like have a conversation, and it just like desperately try to get through to her, and she's like, absolutely not. And then she usually has backup, and then they won't look at that person. They used to do that to Lindsay a lot, and they were doing that a lot to Lexi. They will not look at you. But to pivot, we get into the part of the reunion when we're talking about the whole Ciara and West of it all. But before we kind of like go over the overview of like what went down with West and Ciara in the beginning of the summer to now, I want to ask Brittany, from that segment, so this Ciara, you know, your fave girl, and West, which was the blonde white guy with the hair, shaggy hair,
curlier hair.
Yeah. No, not curly, because like I don't, not the tall one.
No, I know who you're talking about.
Curlier than Kyle's.
Yeah.
Okay.
But who actually do you like based off of watching this episode? We're just assuming,
not just outfits.
Yes.
I don't know if there's anyone that I'm like liking.
Okay.
At this point, like I feel like I have like a little bit of a good handle of, especially like their situation, like Ciara and what's his name?
West.
West. Oh, no, not your nephew.
Not my nephew Weston, but West. But I felt like West came in very like accountable for whatever the drama that happened. Obviously, I didn't see a lot of this, whatever happened, that he was treating her very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
But he did seem very accountable and like apologetic about everything. And like, he's like, I watched everything. I realized my wrongdoings, and I'm really sorry about all the things that happened. And I can see how you could feel with all of the whatever happened. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I can respect a person who can take accountability and apologize for whatever it is. There was one moment with Ciara when she started really opening up about her mom, which I also was like, oh, that was really heartfelt. Like that really, you know, messed her up, and whatever she's dealing with her mom, I was like, okay, she's dealing with that. And that's hard. And to even bring that up in that way and like kind of break down for a moment, like we know how it is. Like Black girls, we don't be doing that family discussion kind of stuff publicly. Yeah. So I was like, oh wow,
especially
like,
around
this must
mixed
really
company.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That must really be hurting her for her to bring that up and talk about it. But she was kind of talking about when she went to Costa Rica and for the holidays. And she like immediately was like, well, he wasn't there for me at all. And that I just didn't appreciate how he didn't check in on me. And then he was like, well, hold on now. Your phone was off and you didn't want me to reach out and you like didn't respond back to me. And I did try. And she's like, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see, you know, like I did. I was at a retreat. So like, yeah, I was away and I didn't want to talk to anybody and I did want to be by myself. I was like, okay, girl. So which one is it? Did you want his support? Did you want him to be there for you as a friend or whatever? Or were you wanting to be isolated and have some time alone? Like, what was the vibe? So that was confusing to me. And that made me think the original conversation that they were having where he was like really apologizing and like, damn, I can see how I hurt you. Then it made me like not trust her as much because I was like, maybe she's just not great at communicating what she's needing, because I was then confused about what she was needing. Because if you're saying, I really just need to retreat, I need to have my own space, I need to be on the beach because I don't want to deal with all the stuff going on with my family. Like, friend, thanks for being there, but I gotta go. Then you communicate that. Don't say, I was gone and you never called me, you never checked on me, but I blocked my phone anyway. I turned it off. Like, what?
She wanted him to send a carrier pigeon.
Yeah, like, girl, we're not sending drones. Like, what are you talking about here? So that was like, I was confused. I was thrown off. And I was like, I thought I was going to be on your side fully. And then that happened.
Pia, relax.
Heavy breathing.
She's so excited that you're like hitting the nail on the head. That's why she's just like, oh my God, you finally I honestly think that to Brittany, so honestly, Brittany tends across the board.
I knew you were going to clock that shit.
Well, this is not what we're confused about. It's going to be a different situation that I will be interested on whose side you be on, though.
Yeah, but now this gives me faith that she...
I do have to say that we got more information this time around than the last reunion.
You're talking in the context of the demise of Ciara and West. And I thank you for bringing that up, because now I'm a little pissed because I done blindly took Ciara's side on that shit. And now, you know what, because I watched it twice now, because I had to really like get my thoughts to
dive in.
And I was like, Ciara says something. I'm going to jump towards the end of the part one just for a second. She doesn't like, she says this whole like, Lexi on your press tour about me, Ciara don't like press tours, but Ciara don't like people just trying to communicate when a group of people have not allowed them to have their story be told. To then that's like, to me, West and Lexi felt, because everyone keeps supporting Ciara, including us, blindly, not having full context of what's going on. And like what Wes kind of mentions in this part one, last year, he was so quiet, and he's not a quiet person by nature, but like in the sense of when he doesn't like know what to say or like feels like there's no winning, he tends to clam up. And he did that last reunion because everybody was very clearly on Ciara's side about the whole breakup. They're really supporting her. We did too. But it was because we thought it was just, they were like, she was very clear that she doesn't like to have casual sex. And we kind of thought that they had sex. He introduced her to his parents and then like essentially got a little fame and just broke up with her. This was never talked about.
Yeah. Yeah.
This never heard anything about Costa Rica.
None of the mom stuff, which is like, this is
brand new information.
This is brand new fucking information. So another reason why he got a lot of heat in the beginning of the season is because after the reunion, we all ripped him to shreds. We were on Team Ciara, and he got it bad, which we typically don't feel bad for Bravo men. We take women's side usually first. And except for Fitz Danielle. But anyway, you don't need to know about her, Brittany.
All right, we'll move past.
Yes.
She's like Voldemort. Anyway, West, kind of goes on his own little press tour, and which is what Ciara's referring to. Like he's talking to, like, he's been going on podcasts after the reunion, trying to get his story out because he really didn't talk in the reunion. And then he does his op-ed in the New York Times, which really pisses Ciara off. And she just, and again, she doesn't like her business out there. And she just felt embarrassed by the whole situation. But this part is still important, though. And I'm feeling like, well, now I can understand a little bit more why he did feel like he needed to, like, kind of speak up for himself in a sense, because
he couldn't reach you. That's the only way to talk to Ciara is in the press. they literally,
that's a good point.
Yes, because Lexi even says, I checked the group chat, and like we'll get to that part. And it's just like Ciara's not responding to these people because, like Pia said in the beginning, you can clearly tell when she just doesn't like somebody, and so she completely shuts down, doesn't give them the opportunity to. And so, so Pia brings up, I guess, just to put like a whole, like to understand the actual story. They were basically the original Lexi and Jesse. They were flirting in the summer last year, and then they weren't like official. So like after the summer was over, she, assumed that they would just pick up after the season, and then they would start to date. But he decided, because he was just like, he actually said to her, I don't want to be in a relationship. Like, I want to be single. I want to have fun. But, sometimes, we feel at that age, like we can change his mind. You could not change that man's mind. So at the end of the summer, she really basically found out that because he got this fame and he wanted to be in women's DMs and he wanted to be single. And so he was like, I don't want to be in a relationship. She was obviously hurt by that. But what we did not know is that she ghosted him. And so
that's important information.
He actually didn't have the opportunity to break up with her. So he said it in the New York Times, but basically we just didn't work out. We decided to go separate ways, and that pissed her off, which led us to here and him finally feeling comfortable, because this is his second season, to say something.
And actually that kind of also reminds me a little bit of kind of what Paige also did with announcing her breakup with Craig on her podcast. It was like they both mutually knew that they were no longer speaking, but at a certain point, because they are on TV and we have seen the relationship on the show, people are starting to chat and talk. So, they only film in the summer, so you have a big span of time. Honestly, how else are you going to get the story out? And it's he didn't say anything that was crazy bad, but when we didn't have all these other missing pieces, it did feel more opportunistic, I guess.
Yeah.
Than really what now it's feeling to turn out to, which now I feel like she's an unreliable narrator, Ciara. And that,
Truly.
so...
because it's if you think about it, and Pia, you make a great point, where Paige had said about Craig, you're acting single. I don't want people to come into my DMs and being like, I see Craig with a girl.
I saw you out there. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So Wes was probably thinking the same thing. I wouldn't be able to talk to other women because they'll be like, aren't you with Ciara? And he'll be like, well, I have to make it clear that we're not together, and she's not speaking to me, and she's not saying anything, and she's posting pictures of me. So everyone's assuming that he
can't even, because he's being respectful and knows that she is a private person, he can't even give context of what she's actually personally dealing with, and why maybe they did drift apart. All he could say is that we drifted apart, which is a respectful way of not putting her fucking business out there, actually. But no one wants to see that side of the fucking coin.
No. And now I'm thinking, right. I'm so glad that you picked that up, because we have been dealing with, all three of us have been dealing with this for so long with this audience. Just because we're just this girl is not speaking. And yet everyone keeps blaming the other party, when it's how is that person supposed to know that she has an issue? And she'll be like, well, why are you going and telling other people that we have issues? Because
you don't talk, you won't talk to me.
Right.
Yeah. You won't respond to me. And then you respond with, why would I? After the last time you said this to me. Okay, well, then see, how the fuck are we supposed to move forward? I'm supposed to wait until I get a contract to know if I'm going to be on Summer House? I'm reaching out to you. Also, I hate to like do this all the time. Sorry, Brittany. We kind of jump because like it's hard not to. But I kind of wanted Lexi to be like, okay, like because Ciara is saying towards the end, why the hell would I come to your birthday party, Lexi? When the last thing you said to me was
that was so weird. Also,
it was so weird,
right? Is that you don't trust me?
I'm like, so then you show up to the birthday.
Exactly.
But here's my problem. That's not actually, again, like I said, Ciara's not a reliable narrator. That's not exactly what happened. I don't know why no one's calling that out. That is not the last time you saw Lexi, because that dinner, when she said that, was before the final party of the season, where, Ciara, you actually had a really nice moment, unbeknownst to Lexi, by sweeping the hose out of the party for her. And that was after she said that.
Yeah.
So by all purpose, like I thought, like, I don't actually think it would be weird that you guys would have like possibly started to try to mend things. And I also didn't think that you ended that conversation after she said that poorly. I feel like you guys heard each other and she actually took in what you said to her in response and took some accountability. So like, again, like Ciara is not a reliable narrator. She's rewriting things to fit her like grudge. And that pisses me off.
And that's a good point, because this is where Ciara got caught up. Because when this is what she gets on my nerves about. So when Andy brought up the podcast about, which everyone keeps reiterating what Ciara is saying, that like, you know, Lexi's throwing her under the bus. But what Lexi said on the podcast was that I sent a text about my birthday and 2 people did not respond. She didn't say 2 people did not show up, but she said 2 people did not respond and then so happened to hang out that very day.
Correct.
So what was interesting is that then Ciara jumps on Lexi immediately. She's like, yeah, you're going up and you're talking about this and all that stuff. And Ciara's like, well, I don't even know when your birthday is. When is it? And then Lexi's like, I sent it in the group chat.
Yeah.
It's on the 24th.
So weird.
And then Ciara goes, well, then why would I go to your birthday anyway? Because you said that you don't trust me. So you did know when her birthday was.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, bitch,
She 100% knew.
Yes. Shirla, I wrote that down. Yes. I was like, so you admit it. You did intentionally not respond because you were upset and didn't like that what she said. The thing is, this is the problem that I have with Ciara. Instead of taking a fucking step back and like admitting, hey, I didn't respond because I still was like kind of not over the fact of how you allow. Because the thing is, I don't have a problem with like Ciara being annoyed with Lexi for allowing a man to sway her opinion of Ciara, but I don't like the fact that Ciara won't acknowledge that Jesse absolutely did that and it kind of giving him pass after pass after pass. And the fact is, okay, fine. You didn't respond to the fucking birthday thing. So then why did Jesse ask you to brunch? Why did Jesse post that on his story? What have you not thought for any reason that Jesse used you to piss off Lexi? And the fact that she's not listening to Lexi repeatedly say, I don't think it was you who did that. I think it's Jesse. She says it. She doesn't imply it. Yeah. She literally says it.
Yeah, but she literally said that.
Ciara refuses to acknowledge, and that's what makes me so uncomfortable about her. It's like talking to a fucking wall sometimes. And
when it comes to women, which is very unfortunate that you see, it's just like both people, like a woman and a man, could be doing the same thing to her, but yet she has such, and we hear it in the story of her mom, where she's like, she has such high standards and blames, you know, her mom going after mediocre men, which is interesting because she also does the same thing.
Yeah, she does.
And it's like, you have, you know, where it's like, we tend to not, and a lot of us have been in a situation with, you know, our parents, you know, breaking up, remarrying and all that stuff. And so like, we understand her story.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to see your parents as human. Like your mom wants to find love. And yes, you know, she could be such a hopeless romantic of like, I just have to go through and maybe don't marry all of them, but okay, but that's her story, you know? And so then to just be like, I'm blaming her because she doesn't understand her worth, and then kind of do the same thing. And it just like doesn't make sense to me at all.
Clock it.
And the thing is, all of us have, I feel like we could relate to Ciara so much when she was sharing that. Like, I feel like we all have our own lived experience that like we can see some similarities. So it's not that I don't have empathy, and I felt really bad. And and all of that. But at the end of the day, though, like, it doesn't excuse the way that you treat other people. And I can have empathy for you, but like my whole thing is like, I feel like we do, but what makes me like, especially this season, just really not give her as much as I usually do, Ciara, is the fact that she's unwilling to give that empathy to anybody else.
Yeah,
and
that was very clear.
And that bothers me, especially like, I don't feel like she acknowledges any of the times, at least, that Lexi has tried to extend an olive branch. She's only acknowledging her perception of an attack on her character, which I still don't agree that Lexi ever attacked Ciara's character. I feel like that's what she heard. But what she was actually saying is, these things that I once may have thought of you, I want to explain to you why I got there, how I got there, and that I felt like I was being told misinformation from Jesse, and I don't think that's fair, and I want to point that out. And I think she's like, maybe I should have taken my own time to figure that out on my own. And I feel like that was the whole point of why she extended. And she said, she turned to Ciara in that moment. She's like, I didn't actually give a fuck about like inviting Jesse to my birthday party. I just didn't want to be like super like petty and start a whole new group thing and make this unnecessary drama. So I just put it in the same group thing. I didn't care if he came. I didn't expect him to come. That invitation though was genuinely for you. It's okay to like maybe not have thought of that, but like instead of like trying to take it in and being like, okay, maybe that was her way of extending an olive branch and I was just not open to it at that point. She just doesn't like, it feels like she's never like willing. She never sits down at these reunions or in like any of her conversations with trying to be open to maybe changing her mind about a situation that she had. But she's punishing Lexi for what her perception once was. And not allowing her to change her like, I don't know. It just kind of, that bugs.
Which is interesting because it's like you're then mad at Lexi because you're like, oh, you allow Jesse to cloud my perception, like your perception of me, but I can be mad at you because he did the same thing to me.
Right.
It's the same double standards we talk about with her all the time. Yeah. And she's just unwilling to change. Like, she will not change her mind. Like, if she's decided that that's how things are, like, the truth in her head just becomes reality.
And she just made a bunch of excuses about not attending the birthday, which is like, if you feel like someone who you're close to, you guys have had a rift, then why wouldn't you then go the extra mile to show up and be there for someone's birthday, their special occasion, and just try to be like, all right, listen, maybe we had some issues, but clearly you're inviting me to something and maybe we can patch things up. So let me show up for this and try. Like, hello. But she just, well, I didn't know your birthday was. Well, I didn't think you wanted someone you didn't like there anyway. Well, we didn't go to brunch on your birthday. I don't even know your birthday. Like, wait, girl, what? Like, why are you doing all these like weird defensive excuses? Like, no one was even attacking you in this moment. And you just were like popping off about it. Like,
and I feel like Lexi went out of her way to be like, no, Ciara, like, listen, for me, I definitely felt like you didn't respond. Like, I felt like she was saying, yes, I didn't think you responded because, we hadn't been close. But I didn't think that you were trying to be spiteful by, like, hanging out with him. But I do think he was being spiteful for trying to flaunt it. And that's what she's not hearing. And I'm like, yes. Like, Ciara, like, you're not making the connection. It's like, the only reason, like, she keeps on saying that Lexi is dragging her into this, but it's not the case. It's always been Jesse dragging Ciara into it because I feel like you didn't get to see the whole summer with them. But most of the time that Ciara is being dragged into it is because other people are bringing like inappropriate behaviors that Jesse is having towards Ciara to Lexi. So it's like or even in that podcast episode, they asked her that question from what they saw on the show. They said it feels like they're kind of like, because what part that they kind of cut off, what the beginning context of that is. They had just been photographed, Jesse and Ciara, at what's it called, Burning Man or Coachella? It was Coachella, and so everyone like for some reason I had never seen them photographed as much as I've seen them photographed online until this season. Like, so I even picked up on it. This feels like they are sending a message. So those podcasters, when they asked that, that's with all that context. So she's like, I mean. I don't think it's wrong for her to have maybe even thought that. Ciara, this could have been your moment to just not be defensive and clear it up. Like instead of just like, because I do think that the optics did not look good.
But this is where it's so frustrating with Ciara, because it's like, and I know I'm glad Brittany, now we added an extra person to keep shitting on Ciara, but still, like, it's just like, it's one of those things that's just like, her communication skills is where it's just like, it's so frustrating. All she had to do, like, no one's blaming Ciara because this man is an asshole and has been flirting with her all summer. But what she could have done is shut that shit down.
Thank you. I was just about to say.
Shut it down.
Like, thank you.
And even shut it down.
Shut it down.
But
I actually felt so bad for Lexi.
So bad.
Like,
but
during
also
all of that.
This was the first time we've heard all summer Ciara say out her mouth, I don't want to be with Jesse. She could have said that in the beginning of the, because meanwhile, Lexi's new. You guys known each other for at least one summer. So she comes in and she's like, hits it off with Jesse. They think they're great. And then she comes in next weekend hearing how much Ciara and Jesse have been flirting. Then she's probably like, well, if you guys are flirting, want to be together, like, get me the fuck out of this. You guys are, Jesse's like, it's nothing. It's nothing. You guys break up. And then at the end of the season, she sees pictures together. So she's probably thinking, was they playing me the whole time? Did they actually want to be in a relationship? And you're giving her no grace to feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. Because they were like chatting back and forth, like Jesse was, like being extra flirty. And,
Thank you.
Ciara, if you ever want to ha ha ha, and everyone's kiki ha ha ha. And I was like, I'm sorry, are we not acknowledging that Lexi is over here like, guys, what?
Burn that bitch down.
Real cool. She was actually very calm, cool, collected. Very cool. I feel bad for her to have to sit there and be like,
and she younger than both of them, isn't she?
Yes, Lexi is the youngest out of everybody in that house. Jesse is like our age, like in his like early 30s.
Early 30s.
And Ciara, I think she's not 30 yet, or she is about to be 30.
She might be. Her and Lexi might be the same age.
Is 26. I'm not by any means saying that Lexi is a baby, but I'm not saying she's a baby. And I know that's a lot of the thing that, like, if you are like Team Lexi, you are treating her as if she's some type of like child, and she's not. That's not what, like, the thing is, I'm actually impressed that she is the youngest person in the house, and she, out of everybody, had the most clear communication of her boundaries, her expectations, and I felt like not defensive at all when receiving feedback, even in that moment that Ciara was referencing when she told Ciara, I don't trust you, and she said, and she was like, I don't trust you because of the things that Jesse has been saying, and then Ciara said back to her, have I done something mean to you for you to feel that way? And what did Lexi say? No. Exactly. Actually, you have not. But I allowed what he was saying to me behind closed doors impact what I thought of you. So yeah, that is why it led me to not trust you. And then Ciara says, well, you also could have, like, even though you guys are, dating, you could have made yourself available to us and still, been with him and still tried to get to know us. So, and she said, you're absolutely right on that. In real time, she was saying this. To me, like, with all of the cast, I have never seen someone be able to, in real time, be so clear and also receive feedback. And so that's what frustrates me, because they're acting as if she's being unreasonable here. Yeah. Like, and I'm like, I don't feel that. I feel like they're being unreasonable and rude.
Also, Brittany, for background, the reason why the set was a bed, those three are always in bed. So, like... So even when Pia's talking about, which is very true, that Lexi, could have tried, but she would have to hop in bed with them.
Yeah.
In order to get to know them.
They're literally...
You're not the most outgoing.
They're literally their nickname. I think Lindsay's the one who actually dubbed them this, but their nickname is the Bedbugs, because that is just how much they are in bed. Like,
I see.
That is
okay.
Like, yes, they're literally called the Bedbugs. So they came up with a really fun idea, an iconic party called Snooze Fest, and they like made a big giant trampoline outside that looked like a bed, and they wore amazing outfits, and like it was like
cute
sleepy time
beautiful.
Theme.
That's
Lexi
great.
needed to hop in bed with them.
That's the whole set thing.
But to Shirla's point, they also didn't really make themselves available. And wait, again, this is another thing is there's these double standards, Brittany, with not just Ciara, but with the Bedbugs in general, Ciara, Paige, and Amanda, is they have one set of standards for them and their friends, and everybody else is doesn't get those same like standards. You know what I mean? So Ciara, when she was newer in the house, her biggest gripe was that Lindsay, girl with Bob in the asymmetrical dress, and Danielle, the one that I was saying that was like Voldemort. She's like she was here. Like you guys were not welcoming, you guys didn't welcome me, but yet everybody, including the audience, has been saying Paige, Ciara, Amanda, they owe Lexi nothing, that they're not friends, they don't have to be welcoming, they owe her nothing. But yet when Ciara was saying that she felt that exact same way about Lindsay and Danielle, it was like they are so mean. It is like for a person who felt that way, wouldn't you then be the person to be welcoming?
Yeah, that's a lack of empathy. Hello. Because also you're sharing a house. Like, it's not you guys are just in the same town and it's like, oh, well, we don't have to hang out with them all the way across town on the other end of the Hamptons or wherever they are. Like, you're in the same home. Like, why would you not want to make sure that people feel welcome when they're brand new and don't know anyone? Like, hello, if you have all the friends and there's a new person in town, like, you would at least try to be welcoming to them and include them and hang out and get to know them. Like, that's just a normal, nice thing to do. Hello.
Thank you. And you're allowed to not like people. But after you do that.
Right. After you do that, if you say, oh, no, actually, you're not my vibe.
Right.
Then that's that. But at least put an effort in at the beginning.
It's the contradictions for me. It's just like, it's like, I don't know, like you keep saying it's one thing but then your actions and even in the next breath, what you're saying is just not aligning. So I feel like the only person that has been consistent to me is Lexi. Like,
because I'm just like, if you're going to be a big dog, Ciara, you need to stand in that. Don't be passive aggressive. So for me, it's like, if you're not going to show up to her birthday, tell her that I'm not coming.
And tell her why. Yeah, I'm not coming to your damn birthday, girl.
But you then
I don't just like you.
Exactly. And
there's nothing wrong with that either. I would have been completely fine with that.
Just say it.
Exactly. But now you're just like, so basically all the things that you blame Lexi as saying like you're making the audience speculate, you were doing the same thing to Lexi.
Right. It's like
because you can't communicate.
You guys are allowed to speculate, but she's not. Like, for what? Why? Like, it don't like, I can't with these people. And I feel like I honestly feel like because they have decided to they had a little meeting, and because Paige likes Lindsay, now Amanda and Ciara can no longer be mean to Lindsay, which is what they used to get off on, and they need to be mad at somebody. And and I feel like they are giving, that's why I said I feel like they're like a thing that they do at these reunions specifically is like if they don't like somebody, they will talk about them nastily and not look at them.
Oh my gosh, it's so easy.
And they used to, and that person used to be Lindsay, but now Lindsay's on the in, and now it's Lexi, and I feel like Lexi is the Lindsay now, and I just feel like they always need someone to be in conflict with.
There also was a moment during like the little like commercial break, whatever, behind the scenes moment, where Lexi said to Ciara, like, "Hey, that was really strong of you to like share about your family," like. Kind of just gave her a little kudos, and Ciara was
she's like, thanks.
Like, way to clock that, Brittany. That's so true.
I was like, oh, that was so nice of her to just have that little touch point to say, "Good for you, girl. Like, I'm here for you. I acknowledge that."
Thank you.
Oh, that's really sweet.
No. I'm glad you brought that back up, because that was one of the things that I was talking about in the sense of like. Ciara doesn't acknowledge any of the things that Lexi has tried to do to bridge it to bridge a gap between their like them not being close. You know, it's like she's just blocking it out, but she can just quickly point out all the things that she thinks that Lexi's doing wrong. But yet all the things that like Jesse has literally done to Ciara over the course of that whole season. It's just Jesse. It's just it's never serious. Right. It's a joke. And it's like, wait, why do we get to brush off all that? Like, what?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even what you did to
Jesse last year.
Yeah, and okay, that's another thing that's irritating the shit out of me, Brittany. They're acting as if they have some type of long history with this fucking man. They met that man the prior summer, and they're so busy as people that like they don't really hang out in between filming like that. And Paige, Amanda, and Ciara are best friends, like actually best friends, and they barely see each other. So you mean to tell me a man that you met last year, you're that, like, you are not that close to that man. I know you're not hanging out with that, like, stop it.
Yeah.
Like, so,
which makes it even worse that there's these pictures of them hanging out. When you tell us that most of y'all are too busy to hang out with your real friends, but yeah, you can hang out with this man who's been talking about you all summer.
Who love bombs.
Actually,
that man is the biggest love bomber of all time.
Thank you.
All time.
Thank
Jesus.
you.
Thank
you.
Personality of a rock.
And by the way, another, oh my God. And oh my God, the guy is he's a loser. He's a fucking loser. And a liar. His half truths.
Because he did not just get a toe suck for 37
Please.
Thank you.
Actually, I don't care. I'm not even going to go in chronological order. I'm going to just say where I want to say, because the things that stand out to me that I want to fucking talk about. Because let's go to this. Okay. Let's go to the goddamn toe sucking. Because I want to bring fuck that up, because so Emerald, who also got dubbed pretty much a predator by the cast.
Oh, he did, Brittany.
And
the audience.
Yes.
And to find out that he only brought 4 people home and 2 was like the toe sucking night. That was new information and pisses me off.
Yeah,
they made it seem like he was
like
up to
1,
30.
2, 3, 4, honey.
Yeah.
And then the show had the receipts, and they were like, "Here's 4." Yep.
Yeah, they made it seem like, Brittany, that he was doing this every single weekend and every day of the weekend. Every night. They dubbed him the orgy beast.
So
I was like, damn.
Like he was doing nothing but just having sex with randoms.
Yeah. He's like, I
did it once, and it was like a week before I started filming, and so I talked about it, and I'm sorry.
It was such an unfair edit, and thank God, because at first people were really against Imrul until we all, like, everyone I feel like for the most part clocked the fact that, like, this, like, he's a single man having consensual sex with people, like, you, like, sure. Why are you kink shaming him? And also, he also did tell the audience that he came from a very religious background where he felt like he couldn't be himself freely. And in recent years, he has, separated himself from some of the, like, the stricter practices of that religion. So this is the first time he's being able to be very sexually free. And unfortunately, it so happened he missed the first weekend, and he was at a sex party. And I think Kyle, like, told the whole house that. So he comes into the house. Everybody knows he went to this sex party. So that's the first question, that just meeting this man, that they asked him. And then that's all they wanted to talk to him about. And I think a part of him was like, I guess he's new. He's like, I guess I'll be that guy. Yeah. He's like, he's probably like, it's not a big deal. They all have sex. They're all kind of wild. They all drink, whatever. Like, he's not realizing that they're all kind of making him seem like he's some deviant. And
specifically Paige and Ciara.
Paige and Ciara specifically, to the point where they were like really nasty to him.
Yeah. I hope they nasty. Yeah, Brittany was bad. They're like, Paige was like, do you have some type of STD? You need to, like, get checked. And, like, Ciara literally yelled at him.
Scolded him.
Yeah. Like, do you do this in your own home? And he was just like, oh, I didn't realize this was again, communication. She literally goes off on him, and she didn't even hear. So, like, what actually happened is that, I keep forgetting that you only watched the reunion, but what actually happened was that one of the roommates, Gabby, was out the weekend. Like, she wasn't there, and typically her room is next to him. So he brought back one of the 4 to the house, and they were having sex, and he was like, he typically has a room downstairs. So he was like, be as loud as you want. Paige was going through an issue with her boyfriend. So she was getting, she had to leave her room and go to Gabby's room. So she heard it. That made her upset.
He didn't know that anybody was in that room.
He didn't know anybody was in that room. That made her upset.
It was supposed to be empty.
Yeah. She then tells
Paige and Ciara together.
Yes. She then tells Ciara. Ciara then gets upset on her behalf. So then decides to yell at Emerald. Which again,
hold. Because I'm only interjecting because, again, Ciara, unreliable narrator, lies and says she heard it. Yeah. She never heard it.
No.
She heard it from Paige and made it seem like she was inconvenienced and upset by it because she heard it. And
like
that's
you can hear through the whole house, not just through the wall.
Yeah. And literally starts to confront him. And all this man did was like, oh, I didn't realize you guys were bothered by this. I will stop doing it. But we never got that resolution because they ended up editing him out. So we didn't even see if he abide by like, you know, like this is upsetting the house. Let me just not do it, or take a weekend off, or go to their place.
Right,
and so,
right.
Yeah. So that's why they had that conversation there. But like, I just think it's kind of annoying that goes back to Ciara not communicating at all.
And then also it feeds into what then Emerald ends up telling us, that like, it created this like narrative that he's out here being misogynistic or taking advantage of women and exploiting them, when Brittany, all of what we were able to see as an audience, it was shown that there were consensual adults who like to, you know, have threesomes or whatever. So, and there's nothing like, there's nothing wrong as long as everybody, and also,
who cares?
And also, I feel like he did try to separate it. And by the way, it wasn't him who was flaunting it. He would bring these women when people were in bed, doors closed, and they were gone before they were up.
Yes.
You want to know when the boundary was crossed? And that's what we're going to get into, Toegate. When Lexi was away the weekend, this is a weekend where he not only crossed a boundary with Toegate, but crossed a boundary with like Ciara, is saying that he would have hooked up with her or like pursued her if Weston called dibs the prior summer, and it was all over her. So that night, Emerald brought Emerald brought home two women, and he goes directly into his room, and they all know what's about to go down. He doesn't like say, I'm about to have a threesome, but we all know what's about to happen. He goes into his room. They do what they do. And here comes Jesse, we see in surveillance, go into the room, open the door. He was not invited into that room. So let's just stop there. Why is that okay?
Yeah. Two women who came home with Emerald, and now there's an extra guy.
They consent. You want to talk about consent? You want to talk about exploiting women or taking advantage? What possesses Jesse Solomon to think that he can go into a room with two women who consented to have a sexual encounter with Emerald, not him? I understand that if from the mic that we picked up, the hot mic, that it did seem after he did get into the room that they were fine with everything. So I will acknowledge that, but he didn't know that going into that room. And that's the issue I have right there. It could have went completely different. Or I don't even know. Maybe they were uncomfortable and they were just trying to be cool. I have no fucking idea. But what I do know is he was not invited into that threesome initially.
That threesome.
Okay? It was not supposed to be a foursome. And I think he definitely got more than his toe suck. So let's just talk about that.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, it was so weird that they just kind of brushed over that part where he's like, oh, he just walked in. And I was also thinking, like, was he invited? Like, did he at least knock on the door and say, hey, is it okay if I come? Like,
he did one of those. He did one of those, from what it looked like, he did one of those knocking but opening the door, cracking it at the same time.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter to me. Like, no. Like that. And the thing is, going back to the double standards, Ciara, so like the way in which she spoke to Emerald about a situation she didn't even hear, and the way she chewed him out, and she knew what happened and knew that Jesse barged in, and how she didn't have the same fucking smoke for Jesse, is so fucking frustrating. It's like, you have no problem like making this man look like a pervert, but the actual pervert is the man that you wanna be taking pictures all over the goddamn internet with and going to brunch on Lexi's goddamn birthday. Accidentally on purpose.
No, that's so true. She did not have the same smoke. She did not give the same energy towards Jesse for doing that, especially when he and Lexi were clearly still like dating or talking or whatever it was. And it's like, hello, you should be mad at Jesse. Like, Emerald didn't do nothing wrong in this situation. Like, if there's any maybe wrong, is maybe Emerald could have asked from the beginning, say, hey, is it cool if I bring people back to the house? Like, I could see that for sure. But that could have been a quick conversation to say, hey, boo, you do what you want to do, but we don't let people come back to the house, or whatever that conversation.
But that's not even true, because you want to talk about how Amanda got into the house. Kyle doing that. Amanda was a sneaky link in season 1.
Oh,
so rewind back to when Andy introduces Amanda. It says, Amanda, how does it feel to be first chair? Which I still don't know why. She provided nothing for this season, so I do not know why she's first chair. I think that they know she provided nothing for the season, and I do still think that there is going to be that sneaky spinoff. And they're like, she's going to be in that show, so we need to make sure she's front and center, so it makes sense. But when Andy does the whole intro, she says like, you come a long way first season from just being Kyle's girlfriend, which is generous because she didn't have a label the first season either. And he only invited her over at night when everybody was
so they'd broken up.
She was the original Arrow.
Yeah. So no, like this is not something this is not new. People have been
Summer House. This is young, right. Drinking.
Summer House.
And the thing is like none of the other boys had game. I also think that's the reason why a lot of the women got mad is because someone actually said this, so I forgot, I saw it somewhere on TikTok where the women the bedbugs are more welcoming to men that give them attention.
Yes.
And Emerald immediately was just like, I'm not sleeping with anybody in this house. And it went smart. Yes, exactly. And so like they then, because they're getting zero attention from this man, just did not even take a chance on it, like get to know him at all.
Yeah.
And so
they like wrote him off.
And Lexi acknowledged that too. Lexi was like, I think we could have been more like, welcoming to you. We could have asked you more questions.
More questions.
So, right.
So good.
So I was like, Lexi seems to be very in tune with like what's going on.
And this is her first season.
I think she's new.
I clocked that too because I wrote that down. I was like, it's interesting enough because then when Emerald does kind of open up. And this is what makes me so like empathetic more so to Emerald and Lexi is because I feel like every time the house comes after them, they do try to take it in, and it wouldn't be fucking me the way that they become.
I light that bitch on fire.
I would be like, fuck off. I'm a grown ass person, but they are better than me.
I light that bitch on fire. I'd be like, that's why he hates you. That's why you a dumb bitch.
Oh,
I don't like that bitch up.
I would have been like, Ciara, you're just mad because like you let mediocre men fucking embarrass you, and that's what it is. And then we would be fighting, and then Ciara would have threw a glass at me like she did Danielle. But anyway,
you didn't even tell Brittany that story because that's the most as they're all laughing at Toe Gang, everyone's kikiing. Ciara was in Kiki when Lindsay was flirting with Austin, and she had a crush on Austin. They weren't even together.
See? They weren't even exclusive.
So there's a lot. So essentially, there's just so many
a lot of double standards.
Without getting too far into like the history and the details, just know that there is examples of parallels. It might not be like carbon copies, which I think a lot of the audience, like when people are trying to draw comparisons, they get hung up on details. We're not saying it's the exact situation, but there are a lot of or enough similarities in it where the common denominator is that like you guys are trying to belittle or dismiss Lexi and how she's feeling because it was a summer romance when we had a whole segment about Ciara and Wes who also met at the beginning of summer and immediately started dating. And it's the exact same situation, but because we like Ciara, it's okay. The love triangle that happened between Lindsay, Austin, and Ciara, same situation happened where Lindsay pretty much accused Ciara of what, like kind of like stepping on her toes, but no one really had any label, so it's like what does it matter? But then Ciara got really upset by that, gets in an argument with Lindsay's best friend, and ends up throwing a wine glass, and it hits her in the chest. And it's like,
oh my God.
Yes, exactly.
But that gets brushed and glazed over, and no one like. It feels like Ciara never, and I typically don't like I hate having to do this because she's a Black woman, and typically Black women on Bravo don't get treated fairly, and she's actually, people excuse Ciara's behavior a lot, but it's just kind of frustrating because it's just too much sometimes, and especially this season, I just feel like it's been amplified, and we like her, but I wish she would just kind of take the opportunity to watch the show back, which we found out through Jessie, she does not watch the show.
So that's really the key, because it seems like everyone else watches and then they can get a moment to like really sit with what happened, take accountability, let it kind of dwell.
But I think she does that because she doesn't want. Yeah, I feel like she does that on purpose though, because she doesn't want to be wrong. So if she doesn't watch it, she doesn't have to be accountable.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But she like
and then everything just lives in her reality.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now she remembers it.
Yeah. But a lot of the stuff, I think what's not working for her, a lot of stuff that Jessie was doing was right in front of her face. So she can't even say like, oh, I didn't see these confessionals. I didn't even see what they were talking about behind their back. Like all this stuff was brought up at dinner tables.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and then
she can't keep using this excuse.
Yeah. And that's the issue. Cause it's like and he like the strong arming, which they mentioned at the cancer benefit when he's like, don't touch me, but he tries to play it off like it's a joke, but it's like, Ciara's not wrong. It was rooted in truth, which is, I was like on her side, like, yeah, don't like, we were happy that she was holding him accountable, but she only the only time she was able to hold Jessie accountable in real time is when she felt embarrassed or rejected.
Yeah.
But she can't see that for anybody else.
Women. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was the only time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the other time was then when at their snooze fest party, Jessie, when confronted about like the strong arming her and saying that he would have like talked to Ciara last summer, West didn't call dibs. He was like, I said that to make her feel better. And she said, excuse me?
Yeah. And this is the man she's still friends with.
Thank you. The hell?
That's what,
and this is the side she's taking.
So my thing is, Ciara, with all of that, knowing all this, is there no part of you that like, it's like when Lexi is saying, he's been saying things about you to me that's making me feel distrustful. Knowing all these things, you don't think that like, like, why would I want to call this man my fucking friend? A person that you just told us that you're very cautious because watching your mom and all this other stuff. So is he not a huge fucking walking red flag? I wouldn't want anything to do with that man.
That's embarrassing.
I think if she's not dating him, that it's somehow different. It's like, these are still the people you have around you. Like,
exactly.
It's a mess.
I had to cut them both off.
That's what I'm like. Child.
That's a mess. Because even West was like, for the record, I never said dibs.
Thank
I never
you.
said that. That's what he said.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
So, actually, speaking of West, what's your opinion on, like, do you like West, or like, do you see the appeal of why Ciara would have maybe gone for him, or like, what are your thoughts on him?
I mean, initially, I was like, why is this gorgeous black girl with that man? Like,
right?
I was like, I guess when you're just living in a house over the summer and you have like slim pickings, you find someone who at least maybe is funny and like a good time or whatever. He's not like not cute, but I was like, not my pairing that I would like maybe choose to be together just based off of like initial looks and vibes.
Yeah.
But I thought he looked cute at the reunion. Like I thought like his hair definitely was better than like the before clips. Like she was right on that. And like he seems like a nice guy. Like I said, he was accountable. So I was like, you seem nicer than Jessie to me. Like Jessie, immediately I was like, oh no, you are a love bombing red flag kind of a person. Don't want nothing to do with that.
Yeah. And every time every time he does something bad, he's like, it's a joke.
Yeah.
No.
You know what? Actually, okay. I just clocked this because and it's because you brought this up last week, Shirla. In the beginning, you brought this up because Kyle and Carl, who are the OG Summer House guys, typically the guys are always protecting each other. And even when they are like obviously doing horrible things, they'll bend over backwards to like lie for each other, protect each other. And I thought that was what was happening with Kyle until towards the end of the season, when Kyle, to me, like we were talking about, Kyle like seems like he is clocking in real time Jessie. And even in like when he's on Watch What Happens Live, he is calling Jessie out. Like, I think that Jessie wants the fame. I think Jessie is like, and he was calling it out in real time. He was calling out and after the fact. And then I noticed that they were both, Carl and Kyle, were eerily quiet. It was just the girls chiming up for Jessie. And I sometimes they would cut to Kyle's faces and he would be making faces about situations when I would be making that exact same face. And I'm like, I predict that if next season, I think that Kyle and Carl will go against Jesse. I don't think he's going to have an easy time in the house next season. I feel like Kyle has had it up to here with this man, and I feel like Kyle's the secret producer, and I feel like he has a vision for the house, and I feel like he does not like Jesse Solomon. I don't think he likes Jesse Solomon, and I think that them not like trying to defend him and being quiet about stuff, I don't think he's going to have a good season next season.
I hope so. I'm over him.
Jesse.
You're right.
And I hope he needs to, I mean, he's a clear villain. I feel like that storytelling wise, it would make sense. Let's lean into it.
Yeah.
Do you think that Lexi's going to get asked back though?
I think so. I think that because the audience doesn't see, it's not like which is funny because like if you think about all the people who didn't come back, they couldn't break into the Bedbugs, and so they became like the girls weren't nice to Sam, so Sam went away. But like I feel like if you weren't bringing anything, like Sam unfortunately got with a guy who's not on the show, whereas Lexi is very much like the Carl and Lindsay dynamic, where you had an issue with somebody on the show, and now we're going to want to see how you coexist. So I think she has a story to still be told. So I think
I want her to be on the show because I do think that I want to, now that she's not in a relationship with Jesse, I would like to see how she is single, or at least not with somebody in the house, and how is Ciara able to coexist, or like how she reacts. Like I do want to see what the dynamics are like next season.
Yeah.
So I do hope she stays. I hope Emerald gets a second chance too. I don't see that. I don't think he is.
I mean, I hope so, but I don't
think he would want to.
He got treated like a guest.
I don't think he would want to.
Full reunion
because he said it like because of the show. Him and his family,
right?
And one thing, Brittany, his father recently passed away. So so like that, if just like you not being able to go to certain things, and then you're like probably in your head like I felt like I lost so much time and all that stuff, and this show has done nothing. And he literally built a school.
Yeah. None of these things got to be highlighted. He tried. I feel like he did try to bring some of these things up. And again, the only person, and I like, it's so funny because I actually thought I was going to go into the season hating Kyle and ended up somehow liking him. I don't know how that happened, but he was the only person that actually asked follow-up questions when Emerald had talked about his experience with being undocumented and in his journey. And he was the only person to actually try to have that conversation go a little further. Again, everybody else was just more interested in his sex life. So we never got an opportunity to like learn about that orphanage. Yeah, it's not orphanage. It's the school that he was doing back home.
Kyle likes everybody but his wife. So
that's the thing. Sense. It's so true. The moment
they referenced that a little bit,
they did.
Ciara was crying.
They did.
She's like, Kyle never cries when I cry. It's like, yeah, because Kyle.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He
was tearing up. He was like, yeah.
That man's in love with
Let me
Ciara.
just tell you, the way he dogs his wife out is like so diabolical. Okay, put it in perspective. Think about you watch early VPR, Brittany. It's the way Schwartz would treat Katie in the early days. Just goddamn disrespectful.
Calling her a dumb bitch.
Oh my god!
This actually just happened last year.
Oh no! She's lazy. She doesn't work.
Yeah, there's a soundbite.
Oh no!
There's a soundbite that is infamous in the Bravo community is when it comes to Summer House. And it's when years ago, right before Amanda and Kyle gets married, Amanda's literally ugly Kim Kardashian crying because Kyle's belligerently drunk per usual, and she's just trying to tell him, like, wrangle him together, and he's mad because he's like, you're trying to like stop my fucking fun. And then he's like, summer should be fun.
Like
Summer should be fun.
Fucking fun. Why are you trying to stop my fucking fun?
That's what Pia would say.
I was like, that was too spot on.
Actually, there's some similarity between drunk Kyle and drunk Pia now that we think about it.
Well,
that's why you like the man.
I used to like. Well, but I mean, I mean, the thing is, it was funny though. I can't. Hey, if you're not gonna respect yourself, I can't. I try to help Amanda, and Amanda don't want to help herself. So what am I to do? But to just use it weekly in the recap podcast as our transition is I use that soundbite or our transition every week, and it's literally like summer should be fun. Amanda, not fun,
not fun,
and it just like goes to her face, just being like this.
Oh, sorry, Amanda.
Yeah.
You don't feel too bad for her.
Found out that he was cheating on her.
Oh my god!
And staying out till 4 a.m.
Yeah, girl. Yeah. And they're still together.
That's what she signed up for.
No, he's funny, which is annoying.
You shouldn't marry the man.
No. Which is interesting that Paige is like, oh, Lexi, I told you not to date him. We all told you not to date Craig. We also told Amanda not to date Kyle, but that doesn't mean that it's okay for a man to treat you poorly.
Right, exactly. Yeah, y'all told Lindsay not to date Carl. We all been telling everybody not to date everybody.
And they do it. And it's okay. But it still doesn't excuse the man for being a dick.
That's the part. That's the part. Why is it that it's okay to sit here and like literally laugh in Lexi's face? That's so fucking mean. That was mean as shit.
So mean. I felt
and she's
so
just
bad
sitting there, and everybody's just laughing. Even Andy finally had to be like, Lexi doesn't find this funny.
Seriously.
That was one time when Andrew was doing his job, because I was like, are we going to still sit there and let everybody like roarously laugh at this woman?
So bad for her.
Well, I feel like the control room had to say something because he was laughing too at first.
Oh, he was. He started like a little bit.
Right. Everyone and then eventually hit me
and then Jesse was telling me. And then he was like, oh shit, guys, Lexi.
What is that? Lexi's not smiling? Oh yeah, guys, Lexi's not smiling.
I don't like that though. Like that
was nasty.
And the thing is, I still to this day don't know if I like Lexi or not, in the sense of like the reason we're not defending Lexi because we like have a long history with like seeing her on TV, or I particularly think that she's like the most interesting person. But I feel like we're generally a very empathetic people, and we're just looking at a certain type of situation, and it's just like, I don't like how they're treating her when I don't think it's deserved, just on a human level. It has nothing to do with like liking. I happen to like Ciara, I happen to like Paige and Amanda, but like you can like people and still be like, hey, that's not nice. You can call people out. You can normalize liking people and still being able to tell them in this moment you're not being correct, you're not being right.
Exactly.
Basic decency.
Like,
that's you don't have to like her to acknowledge he dogged her out.
Yes.
That's how that stupid audience is. The audience is like, if we like you, we go hard for whatever you do, right or wrong. If we don't like you, we don't care what the man does to you. And he only was dating her for 2 weeks. It don't matter the time. It could have been 2 hours.
Don't fucking disrespect me. Especially when we watched him. Because again, Lexi, just like Ciara said, I don't get into relationships and become intimate unless we're exclusive. And Jesse, literally, without telling Lexi Toegate happened, he said what he said and was flirting with Ciara, knows that it's going to be brought up, takes her to lunch, kind of tells her some stuff, but like really leaves a lot of the big details out, definitely doesn't say anything about Toegate, becomes exclusive with her, has sex with her, then she finds out all of this. Context yes, bitch.
Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, they're all laughing.
When she has said to them, everybody knew that she doesn't get intimate with people unless she is exclusive. And he also, we find out, told her he loved her.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
it's unfair for them not to not take that into account and to continuously dismiss her, because that's not like, he crossed 2 major boundaries with her and didn't give her the opportunity. And they keep on saying, well, then why'd you go back? Why did you go back? Maybe one of the reasons why she doesn't like to get intimate with people is because that is like a very deep connection for her. So now she's already done that. And that made it harder for her to let go.
Right.
And how many of us also went back?
Critical thinking, bitches. Critical thinking.
Especially in our 20s, I'm going back.
Yeah, in your 20s, 100%.
Like Ciara, like you acted like you fucked like Wes. Because he introduced you to his mom, and then he dumped you, and we're still talking about it a year later. So fuck off.
I mean, Austin too. Remember Austin? We found out after that whole stuff where he didn't want to date. Actually, both situations, the men did not want to date her. And then they were like, I want to go my separate ways. With Austin, dogged her out. And then we found out at a reunion, she went to Charleston. She flew to go sleep with that man. So you judge it, Lexi? Why are we? The point is what we're trying to make is that is not. Listen, all of us have made decisions that we like. Maybe that probably wasn't right. Let's stop blaming the woman. The man was cruel. Let's put the blame on the man.
And the thing is, I feel like the people that are fiercely against Lexi and fiercely for Ciara are making it seem like the way in which Lexi has been, like, because Lexi has been on quite a lot of podcasts. I will say I am a bit exhausted by it, but I also understand it because look at the fucking reunion. Yeah. By the way, this reunion, like some of the podcast stuff that we're watching is happening after she filmed the reunion. So it's like she saw how that went with it. Like, so again, like everything is like context. Like she spent a summer where people like she tried to explain herself like 5 million different ways and it just still wasn't happening and that people were understanding her perspective. She doesn't know what the edit's going to be like. So she's trying to get ahead of it. She doesn't have a history with the audience. So who knows how she's being edited? Look at fucking poor Emerald. He's a predator all of a sudden because he had 4 sexual partners as an adult with consenting women.
Ridiculous.
Right.
Who, like, what the, like, so she's just trying to get ahead of it. And so what? She went on a few podcasts and said her POV. What? So the fuck what? Like, don't listen to the goddamn podcast then. I don't like what the fuck to tell you.
He gets to do that.
Turn it off. And the thing is, they're probably not even listening or seeing the podcast. They're just literally reiterating what Ciara is saying, that you're going on these podcasts and running my name through the mud. Like, I want people to send us clips of Lexi running Ciara's name through the mud because they don't exist.
And the problem is Ciara is not acknowledging that it's nearly impossible for her to honor what she has told Lexi, which is not to talk about her good or bad, because unfortunately, when the moment that Jesse said, I would have called dibs on you, got flirty, and then, you know, had sex with you, got together, and the whole house told her after all that happened that he did all this, he put you in it. So now you guys are like fucking handcuffed together. So pretty much all of the questions will have to do with Ciara in some way. She's not bringing her up. It's like, she's like, she can't even omit her because then the story wouldn't make any sense. Like, then what are we talking about? Like, what are we, like, what is, that is a major part of the issue. But I feel like she goes out of her way when she's talking about Ciara to be like, but it's not because it's not her fault. It's Jesse's fault. But everyone keeps on acting like she's not saying that part. They're completely ignoring that she's saying, I am acknowledging it is Jesse's fault. But it's
yeah.
What
went through you guys' mind when, like, I'm actually happy that they brought up that Lexi brought up the Amanda thing where she was trying to be like Ciara and Jesse should date, and then Amanda's response was, "Oh, I thought that was a joke, that it would never happen." You a goddamn liar. Sorry, Jesus, for putting your name in. You a liar.
She's just deflected because she got called out. Right. Every word of that.
Right.
She did, and I would have to raise you one. Did it not that when they did that flashback clip, it reminded me of what we talked about in Winter House with Ciara and the Austin situation. So Lindsay was late to come to the Winter House, and that she had the situationship with Austin. So Lindsay's coming into the house thinking she's going to continue the situationship with Austin, but because Craig, who was also in that clip with Amanda, and also in Winter House, didn't like Lindsay, Paige and Amanda colluded, and they said, put Ciara. I remember they were in a room. They're like, Ciara, you should go for Austin, and they brought up Lindsay and acknowledged that they had a situation. She was like, they're not together. Who cares? You should go after it. And then they did. And by the time Lindsay got in the house, they were in a full situationship. And Amanda and Craig were conspiring to do the same. And I wholeheartedly believe they meant that shit. And if Ciara would have taken the bait, they would have encouraged it. It was just that Ciara actually was not interested in Jesse. But let me tell you something. Had she been interested, I do think she would have pursued it, regardless if Lexi was in the situationship or not. I don't think she it's very clear she doesn't give a fuck about about Lexi in any capacity.
No, exactly. So, and again, we keep saying it, the shoe was on the other foot. it would have been World War III. Because we literally spoke about Ciara and Wes for like 40 minutes when that happened last year.
And that didn't even happen this season.
It's like we're still talking about it, and there's still some animosity there. Please.
Respectfully, we're watching the same story be told just through a different lens. So like, let's stop acting like it's not what it is.
Yeah,
they're really trying to sell us on the idea that Ciara's situation was much more special. It was not.
Yeah, it was not.
Because I don't recall Wes telling Ciara that he loved her at any point, to be honest.
Right.
Wes was at least honest with her.
Yeah.
Like, Jesse had lied and love bombed, told Lexi he loved her, tried to get in a relationship. Wes was like, I don't want to be in a relationship. I want to take this slow. I don't want you to meet my family. Like, he was honest.
Low key, so did Austin.
Yeah, that is very true.
Like, she keeps
not low key, high key,
man.
It's because she clearly has bad, like, familial trauma going on, and she's had some learned behavior, and she's blaming a lot of it on her mom and projecting a lot of those feelings onto her mom, and she might need to take a moment to think about how that's affecting her.
Which is key, Brittany,
that you said
she's blaming it on her mom. She's blaming it on the woman. So like it's like her mom in every situation, and she keeps blaming the woman on why the man is doing the rejecting.
Because there's something going on with her dad, because she brought up, I'm not talking to my dad right now, and there's definitely some sort of heartbreak of how she maybe idolizes her dad in some sort of capacity to be like, oh well, my dad, I'm not talking to him, so she feels like there's some kind of guilt or something around that, because that explains why she's blaming mother and has dad in some sort of, well, like, I'm not talking to him, but it's still at some level of esteem there.
But yet still wishes, because she says it has a moment where she's like, I wish they were back together. Like, why? He sounds like an asshole. He sounds horrible. Why? But that's actually a great point, like, to bring it full circle. Like, it does seem like she had, like, a lot of the reason why she is so much, is she so much harsher on the women is because it's almost like she sees like her mom in these women, and she does seem to put more blame on her mom for putting herself in these situations, and it's like kind of like what Gabby sarcastically said, boys will be boys in a sense. We're not licensed.
Interesting that
we're not licensed, but
I mean, at this point, I think we are.
Are we?
But like, ChatGPT said yes. But I like the way that you said that she blames her mom for putting her in those situations. And we're saying that she also does the same thing with the women, because she said it to Lexi that you are putting me in the fire to the audience. And she did the same thing with Lindsay. Like, this is your fault, basically, why Austin doesn't want to talk to me or whatever.
She did say that.
So it's like, literally, it's somehow she is seeing her mom and all these women and puts the blame on them. And then the guy, because boys will be boys, can get away with murder.
And the rejection that she kind of talks about, or the complicated relationship she has with her dad, it also feels like how we've kind of talked about. It seems like a pattern with Ciara is like these. She goes after these, like, what we see at first glance feel like people that are like mediocre. Like, she should not even get to be in her like sphere.
Yeah.
And then they dog her out. They like tell her that they don't want to date her, and then like she feels so embarrassed. But yet, because of that, she still like wants to pursue them, because I feel like she needs to feel like that she's not rejected, that she is wanted. So she keeps going back to them, because and I like, it seems like it's very like, I feel like she needs to go to therapy. Does she
has some abandonment issues. She kind of touched on, like, she was feeling super alone because she's not talking to her dad, and then her mom is married and has a whole new family, and so she's on her own for the holidays. So she definitely has like some feelings of like loss and loneliness going on. So I think if you have a guy who's like right here, it's like, oh well, let me align myself with you, let me cling to you regardless of like all the BS and awfulness and love bombing that you be doing. You just you excuse all of that, because it's like, at least you're choosing me in this moment,
right? But then also doesn't communicate the lonely, and just assumes so he must take over the role of what I'm missing with my family. So like for the holidays, I'm alone, and I tell him about like my family situation, but he doesn't know that you're alone.
Right.
And you didn't know, like, oh, why wouldn't you? And that's probably another reason why, because Wes's parents are together.
Yeah.
And so she probably was thinking like, oh, maybe he will invite me over to his family's house for the holidays and then I won't be alone. And then when that didn't happen, that's probably why she ghosted him.
Yeah.
Because she didn't communicate. I would love for that to happen. And he probably thought this is too soon, which I guess maybe.
Right.
And then also it's like dating is already a tricky thing in itself. Dating is not for the weak. Like you're always like, it's like, you don't really like. Sorry, Shirla girl. But
it's like all laughing.
I mean, I'm not, right. But unlike Ciara, I'm not going
to Thank you, Andy, for bringing it back.
Thank you.
I'm not going to cuss it. I'm not going to cuss y'all out because it's like.
No, you got standards.
Yeah.
But also, too, like, I'm the opposite of Ciara. Like, you know, where it's like, I tend to, like, you know, I will still put the blame on the man. Yeah. And so, like, that where I'm like, I don't see it as, like, there are some women out there, of course, that would, you know, could be problematic. But, like, not recognizing how the man is playing the villain in the situation, to me, is just like, yes, I understand your family history, but a lot of us have family issues. And to your point, Pia, in the beginning, that doesn't excuse your behavior to be nasty to people.
I'm gonna remind people one more time that she didn't give a fuck about Lindsay's trauma and her abandonment issues with her mother.
That's
to the point
true.
Where she said that she doesn't think that Lindsay's capable of having a baby.
Yeah. So Lindsay's mom left her when she was younger. So yeah.
And she has crazy abandonment issues, which is what is a factor of her, like what they call it, like Lindsay getting activated, her being explosive, which does not like, it really clashes with the vibe of like the other three ladies who are not like that. But when she reacts and explodes, that's all she needs and she's fine. But they keep it and they hold on to it. And so that's why they had been butting heads for so many years until the season. But in recent years, like when Lindsay has been very clear with the audience that all she wants in life is to be married and have kids. And she was also honest because it has everything to do with her mom rejecting her. And she's trying to build her own family that she can have to gain some type of control. And so when like, actually Ciara was kind of really like one of the people that were pretty vocal of telling Carl that he doesn't think that they should get married. And that's the same season that he ended it. And that she doesn't even think that she should have kids because of the way she is.
Oh. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, no empathy. And the thing is, it's like,
but I'm supposed to feel bad when she's crying. I do though, because I'm like I do feel bad. But it's like that. But it makes me mad because it's like, why can we feel bad knowing what we know about Ciara? But she just won't feel bad for anybody else if it's not relative to her besties like Paige and Amanda.
But this is why the audience is so annoying and just like they love Ciara because basically Paige and Ciara are best friends and the audience really loves Paige. But like you hear Ciara's story and yes, you can empathize with her. The whole audience is like, oh my God, yes, this we understand her more clearly. But we've been told Lindsay's story for years. And your mother abandoning you is very rare. Like all of us here are very close with our moms. So like I can't even imagine that type of trauma.
Yeah.
That's devastating.
Yeah. It's devastating.
And all of us have without putting our business too much out there, we all have complicated relationships with our biological fathers.
Yeah, I didn't want to
say
that.
But
I'm saying, I didn't, because I was going to say that about myself. I already said it about myself, but I didn't know.
I said complicated.
I'm
fine talking about it.
Okay, as long as everybody's fine, because I'm fine talking about it.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go into like the dirty details of what they did to us, but like, but
so that's why we can relate to Ciara and be like, girl,
totally,
yeah, because like before anybody's like, well, you don't get it. Yes, the fuck I do actually.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, the fuck I do. I completely understood what she was saying, but that doesn't mean you're allowed to like treat people poorly. I can have empathy that's why you may have done it, but if you're not gonna do any self-reflecting, like, then we're going to call you out.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. And that's just being a good friend too. Like you should be able to call the people out in your life and say, girl, you might want to check that. And that's it.
That's it.
This is why the audience, I'm like, when I was going through, because Pia be seeing me on TikTok, just lighting people up.
Lighten them up.
I just like, it frustrates me because, and then I realized I took a moment yesterday, unlike Ciara, I was reflecting. But I was like, I bet y'all are not actually good friends or don't have a lot of friends in your life, because I would never want to be those people's friends.
No.
At all. Literally at all. Just like the way that they only have empathy for people that they like. Like they keep pointing to the fact that nobody knows Lexi, nobody's friends with Lexi. That doesn't matter.
She's a human.
She's literally human. Like, I just don't understand how you can see someone get treated so poorly. You can watch a whole stage of them laughing and everyone's like, well, I thought it was funny, and they don't know her, so it's okay. And their relationship was only 8 seconds. It doesn't matter.
And actually, I would like to take a moment because we've said this all season. Brittane, me, Shirla, and Jaleeza are very much like love Lindsay, and a lot of times people think that if you like Lindsay, you won't like call out some of her behavior. I will call out something that I did not like this episode with her, and I'm going to call her out. She was also helping the narrative that everything that Jessie says is a joke. She's one of the people that said that, and I did not like that. And Lindsay, you wrong as hell for that. Like,
absolutely wrong.
Like, no, we are not going to sit here and excuse men. It was just a joke. It wasn't a joke when Carl like blindsided you on TV and embarrassed you.
No.
So no,
they were
laughing. It's not a joke. Okay, like,
and
other people's feelings are not jokes.
I feel like Lindsay's now, because she is, and this is what I hope doesn't shift her. Now that she's in good with the other girls, she feels like she can't go against them really, because she's literally walking on thin ice. And she's like, I love this relationship now, so I need to keep it. And I like that.
I was thinking the same thing, and I didn't even want to say it out loud because I was like, I was a little bit trying to be in a denial about it and protect her a little bit. But I'm glad. No, you were right for saying it, because maybe I know she'd be watching these type of things. She needs to hear it. Because she does.
And that's real. That's a real thing. Like, you finally are included. You're finally a part of the group. You don't want to lose that. So you're desperately holding on. Like, I get that. That's totally real. But you're a grown-ass woman.
Hello.
Yeah.
You're an adult.
And also, Lindsay, is the same thing that I'm going to, like, because we're calling people out. Like, you have been Lexi for almost every reunion, but this one. And you know how it feels to be like that. Like, when you are saying things or people don't have the full context and people are still accusing you of leaking things and it wasn't you, and like making it seem like you're like trying to like do this whole like media campaign PR. Like, you've heard all these buzzwords. So for her not to pipe up at any time during that reunion, also her silence was deafening.
Yeah. Yeah, they better fix that part too.
Yeah.
Very unlike Lindsay.
So we are women of our words, and we said that we are able to, just because we like Lindsay doesn't mean that we are not going to like not criticize things that we see when it's happening. And that is something I really wanted to like point out, because I did not like that personally. So
that
Scooby-Doo.
Did anything else happen? I think that was pretty much it, though. It did like we kind of covered the general thing of what like the topics that they covered in part 2, because it like was rolling credits on Ciara just not listening to anything Lexi had to say, like literally asking a question she had already answered. Like, so what does that mean? It means that I didn't say that, like. I didn't say that you were intentionally doing this. I was saying that he was. And she was like completely ignored it and still asked her the question again. So I hope Lexi, because she is really good at communicating, I hope that when they pick back up in part 2, that she clearly says it one more time, and Andy doesn't just like brush past it and make Ciara actually acknowledge that, because I would love for her to like acknowledge that. Like, do you think that Jessie, like, Andy, please ask Ciara, do you think Jessie intentionally did that to piss off Lexi? Like, why not ask that question?
Right. They don't want to.
Yeah, that needs to get brought up.
Then it does.
And also, too, like, audience, nobody, because everyone is like, oh, they didn't actually hang out on her party. They hung out on her birthday. One, nobody posts in real time anymore, especially if you are somebody that's on TV. That's dangerous. Yeah. And two, obviously they hung out the day of her party, and then what makes it worse, he then posted it on her birthday.
Like,
so it was a double whammy.
Ciara didn't know the birthday. Jesse knew the birthday.
Ciara definitely knew the birthday. It was in a group chat.
And she had the receipts too. You know, I love a receipt.
I do too. And you know, they were talking about it at that brunch. They probably like, did you get that invite? Because he definitely brought it up. Like, come on.
And you want to talk about, you're trying to, like, okay, sorry. Like, I thought I was done with this Ciara thing, but I'm not. I'm fucking not. Because
it's gonna be 17 hours.
Because Ciara, actually, we're doing pretty good. Usually, it's almost at hour 3 by now. We're done essentially. But
we're good.
We're actually good. But let me say one more thing now, because Ciara, bitch, you said you better stop with the bees. The bees. No, but Ciara want to say that Lexi is trying to put these like false narratives or these implications. But Ciara also said on her own little podcast tour that Lexi made it seem like she didn't that everybody went and to her birthday party, but those two, and it was no one else went. And that needs to be called out more, because Ciara purposely misrepresented that and acted as if she didn't hang out. She was trying to make it seem like she never hung out with Jesse, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
And I clocked that. And to the point where I was like, ooh, did Lexi lie? So this is what I mean earlier I think she side texts Lexi or something, because then that's when Lexi had to say, well, Ciara doesn't want me to bring her up anymore, whether it be good or bad.
Sorry. But that's why Lexi's so good, because she doesn't know.
But the problem is, she said that after Ciara pretty much kind of denied even hanging out with Jesse. So it's like, but that's not fair, because Lexi was like, but she is making it seem like I'm lying, and she did, so I'm not allowed to say that I didn't lie on that, because now it looks like I lied on you.
Exactly.
But I didn't.
So that's Lexi not to talk about Ciara?
Yeah.
Yes.
Girl, you're on a reality TV show. What do you mean I can't talk about you?
Right.
What Thank you, Brittany.
Exactly.
Thank you.
That's our job.
And that's why Ciara is pissed at Lexi, because Ciara's used to just letting the audience have whatever narrative that they want to, and it's always putting her in a good light. Yeah. And Wes and Lexi have both realized that, being like, okay, if we just let the audience think what they think, I'm going to be the villain. But they don't realize that they're going to be the villain regardless, because the audience just really like Ciara, Paige, and Amanda, and they could do no wrong, unfortunately. But when you have sane people like us, we can actually see it.
Yeah. As fresh eyes, I was like,
And
fuck that tea.
And it's so interesting because, and I knew you would be able to do this. You were able to, like we keep on bringing up things that happened seasons ago, like Brittany. Like,
very impressed, Brittany.
I am very impressed on how well you were able to clock a lot of this with very little context of anything, really, too. Because it's like,
nothing.
You got a few flashbacks and rewritings and retellings of Ciara and other people, and yet you were still able to like get past all that bullshit, and you're like, 1 + 1 is 2. This don't fucking make any sense.
Right.
Like,
thank you.
If 2 + 2 is 4.
Yeah, like,
and 1 + 1 is 2.
4 + 4 is 8.
What the hell is it?
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
What the hell?
What the hell?
I actually didn't realize when you brought up the Ciara thing about like the birthday, and it was like nobody went. That was shade, because Emerald and Gabby went. So for you to be like, and nobody went.
Because to them, they are nobody.
They're nobody.
That was nobody.
Dang.
She's mean. I don't like that.
I don't like it at all.
She's going through things and needs to really heal.
Everybody's going through things, as Shirla said.
Damn!
Okay.
Why you can't say that was you?
I was trying to give her a moment. Dang.
We never let we don't let that lady breathe.
Ever.
Because Pia's still mad that she had her out here looking stupid. We were defending her 10 toes down last year with what?
Shirla, my biggest pet peeve is people making me look stupid when I blindly defend them. Like, which is what I rarely do it. And you're out here and a year later, you're gonna tell me
I twitch.
Right.
You mean to motherfucking tell me that you turned your phone off for 2 consecutive weeks and went to Costa Rica, bitch?
And then was mad that he didn't reach out? What?
I know everybody. That moment of collective, what the hell? That was not told to us.
This is not the story we've been told.
Well, guess what, Ciara? I too can hold a grudge. Okay? And next season's not like up.
She's gonna go on the new spinoff though, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well. We shall see.
She did not
I need you to see. I need you to watch The Winter House. Actually, no. I need to watch. Yeah, Winter. No, because I just want her to see that Ciara, Austin, Lindsay dynamic. Because she's not gonna start this summer house from the beginning. So
no, it's too many seasons.
No, there's so many seasons. There's no way.
I'm like, I just want you to see that dynamic of like. How upset Ciara got. And it's like, listen, Lindsay knew what she was like. She was friends with Austin for years, thought she was going to be in a whole relationship with this man. And he said no. He actually said no to both of them.
So then she just watched the Lindsay birthday episode.
You want to talk about you want to talk about arguing with people in comments? All right, I need to see if this person responded to me because
She's in an active war as we speak.
My favorite thing to do when people try, I will make a comment. I never go in and reply to people's comment. I always just like make a comment on a video and be like, yeah, thank you for understanding. Like, why are we excusing men? And here comes some hefty bitch come up behind me talking about you're wrong and all this stuff. And I'm like, you replied to me. And so my thing is like, instead of going back and forth, my favorite thing to do is go, okay. And it be pissed off.
I will say this. I will comment. I will comment I will comment on people's comments, and that is what I did in this moment because it was factually incorrect.
And another thing, bitch, I literally just be like, okay.
I think that the particular comment thing that you're talking about, because she was like, I'm going to be done with this because I'm going to brunch. I was like, enjoy your mimosas, bitch. But you're still wrong. And think about that there over Eggs Benedict. Hope it's tasty.
I hope it's delish.
Hope it's great. Like, hope it's good. Enjoy brunch.
She literally
hope the server is so nice to you.
She like, because I ended up giving her like some type of like, I was like, I had proof or something. I was like, did you not watch this? And then it's like, well, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. You responded to me.
Well, the thing is when you give them a direct, like, factual thing, not opinion, like you can pull a specific instance to like dismantle their whole argument. That was every time she was like, I'm too busy for this. And then she wanted to end the conversation but then pick back up on something that was not related because she couldn't finish it. Yeah. And I'm not going to have that. So like I was at work doing this.
It's like when you're wondering where your server is at work, and you're like, "Oh, having a
meanwhile
comment battle."
I was like, "Watch my tables, but while I read her for filth, because my friend needs some help over here."
My damn server.
I was like, "My friend needs to take a break."
Another round of drinks. 20 minutes.
Meanwhile, I already left the conversation onto another video.
Well, because I didn't like her tone in which she was speaking to you. So I said, "Fuck that." I was like, I've entered the chat now.
Wait, but what war are you in?
Well, because it was actually the same. It's on. I think it's on the same thread that you're talking about. I had made my own comment, and then I wanted to read under your comment, but like not under your comment. Like I happened to like make my own comment, then I posted it, and I realized, oh, bitch, you here too. Yeah, my shit posted right underneath your shit, and so then I was like scrolling down to see if people were aligning with what I said. And then I saw someone talk about Lindsay in the whole Austin Ciara thing, but saying that, well, everyone wanted to get mad at Ciara when Lindsay pretty much disrespected Ciara by going after Austin when she was in a situationship, and I couldn't let that stand because I said no, that's actually not what happened. I was like, actually, Lindsay was in a situationship with Austin first. She came late to Winter House, and Ciara knew that, and then still pursued Austin, and that is what the fuck happened. Right. And then the person commented back to me is like, actually, he was on a break from Madison, and he was not talking to Lindsay anymore, and then he went into Winter House and talked to Ciara. I was like, actually, that's not correct, bitch.
Oh,
he was done with Madison, and he was in a situationship entering the house with Lindsay. I will say no one had titles. I've never said anybody had titles. All I'm saying, we're talking about situationships. He was in a situationship. They all acknowledged it. Run the tape back, but Ciara wasn't friends with Lindsay and didn't like Lindsay, so she didn't give a fuck. Exactly. So for her, she wasn't breaking girl code because she didn't like Lindsay, and so she went after Austin. No one forced Austin into anything. Austin did break things off with Lindsay to pursue Ciara in Winter House, because then she wanted to bring up, and then also Lindsay was with somebody else in Winter House. Only after Austin broke up with Lindsay or made it official, like, I'm not gonna do this thing with you. I'm gonna pursue Ciara, and then so Lindsay went off and did her thing. But then fast forward to Summer House, on and off against Ciara in their situationship. Austin. Lindsay said, I'm bored and I want to hook up with Austin again. And Austin said,
he decided to come to the Summer House Lindsay's birthday weekend.
Yes.
So he didn't have to. He could have decided to have, he still was talking to Lindsay.
Yes. So yeah.
I'm going to, so again,
yes,
the man.
By the way, that was Lindsay's fucking guest. Yes. And Ciara thought, because of the way that he was acting with her in Winter House, that he was going to dog out Lindsay, even though it was Lindsay's birthday weekend that she invited him to, that was his guest, that was her guest. And then he wasn't really paying her no mind and making out with Lindsay left and right. And then she got livid.
Yeah, she was mad. She was like, where is he going to stay? And Lindsay was like, probably my room. Because in Lindsay's mind, she's like, this is over. You and him are over. And so, and they hadn't spoken. That's another thing, too.
Also, mind you, they keep on dismissing Lexi, all of them. This is just a summer thing. Who cares? Why are you being so dramatic? Can I tell you how long Winter House films, Brittany?
How long?
2 weeks.
She threw a glass over 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
What?
Corner man in the kitchen.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And even the difference between Winter House and Summer House, they are in that house for 2 weeks. Whereas Summer House, they at least go back to their home. So there's some type of real life part to it.
They're not in a vacuum.
Yes. You get to you can go to each other's homes. You can go out for dinner dates.
Jesse's met her family.
Her whole
family.
She's met his.
Yes.
Not just like a vacation romance.
Ciara, I don't think, met Austin's family. I don't think Austin introduced Ciara to anybody, actually.
No.
So we're meeting families. That's intense.
For you
that was intense, and that's what was so crazy.
For you to be throwing fine china at people over 2 weeks and not seeing a parent in sight is ridiculous.
Yeah. So we're just basically calling out the double standards again. Yeah, it just goes back to that's why we always keep fighting with people, because they like to make excuses, and it's like it's okay. Also, too, they'll be like, "Well, you just don't like Ciara." It's like, no, we're just calling out bad behavior. I don't have either feelings. I like her when she's having fun, but when she is against a woman for what a man is doing, I just don't like that. And I can say that it's my prerogative.
Period.
Yeah. Period.
Done. Boom, boom,
well,
down.
that was a wrap on part 1 of Summer House Reunion. And I want to thank, all 3 of you for being here, especially Brittany. And again, one more snaps for Brittany, because you fucking
so good, Brittany.
So fun.
It's like you watch it.
I feel like you watched the entire. You've been watching since the beginning.
For years.
For years.
Years. What if Brittany has been secretly watching this show the whole time?
She's secretly the biggest Bravo fan of all of us.
She's a secret producer.
Oh my God.
I was texting Andy.
She was actually texting Ciara, I got them off your set, bitch.
I know, right?
Like, you need to get it together, girl. They're talking about you.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Well, thank you. Also, if you want to buy Hella Awkward, I'm going to be posting a link in the show details. So you can, this is a great, obviously you should just have this, like if you like to play games, if you have like, you know, friends, you should buy them for them because these are really great stocking stuffers too. It's easy.
Oh, yeah.
This is the expansion pack. She also has Build a Bay, which is the one in fuchsia behind her. So yeah, I'll have all of that information and also where you can follow Brittany on her social media, which is Naturally Big Brit, and also you can follow her official card game, which is Hella Awkward. Is it Hella Awkward or Hella Awkward Cards?
Hella Awkward Cards. Come say hi.
And of course, please don't forget to follow and DM, send messages, and also like show Brittany some love and tell her like if you like loved her opinions on the reunion. But specifically Shirla at her social media, which is she is Shirla Divine on Instagram, and then she's Shirla Divine at a 007 to the end of it on TikTok, and Jaleeza at Jaleeza LH on Instagram, and of course me, Pia on both Instagram and TikTok. So. Thank you, ladies. This was really fun, actually.
So much fun.
Loved it.
Loved it. So good.
Brittany, we're going to make you be... You have to watch Bravo now.
Oh, my gosh.
You have to.
Honestly,
But
you don't
it's
even...
fun
She
to come
showed
in
that,
at the end, actually.
to show that she doesn't need to watch Bravo.
She's like, I get it. These people aren't that complicated.
Yeah. I was like, where's all the real tea? Where's the real drama? Like, I like the OG Bravo with the real go.
You're not wrong. That's actually a lot of the biggest criticism of Bravo across the board, Brittany. Across the board. It's like, they do need to pivot. They need to fix some shit because I am so not interested in even some of the housewives anymore because it's just so, everybody's producing. Yeah. Everyone is trying. It's just so contrived.
Which is hard because the OG Bravo, it was like raw. It was like real people just living real lives and getting into real life stuff. And now everyone knows the celebrity of it all. Everyone wants to look perfect and prim. And I totally understand. So it's just hard to actually create that juice, that spark that happened in the beginning seasons. But yeah, I was like, oh, some of this stuff.
But I feel like that's where Summer House is losing it because of having the old guard and the new guard. Because you could have had that with Emerald and you could have had that with Gabby, but you refuse to tell those stories and put them in a box and then follow more so like what's happening with the OGs, and whereas like they don't take kindly to new people, so now we're following their same old storylines over and over again, and we just like
but yet they don't want to be there. But they don't even want to be there. But they don't want anybody else to be there. Woo! I hope you guys enjoyed seeing our other side group chat, which is the Rolling with the Homies group chat. So it was Rolling with the Homies meets Bravo group chat. And Brittany, I think she did an amazing job with having zero context, which also makes sense because that is why she is the co-founder of Hella Awkward, because she's great at making connections. She's great at having open-ended conversations, which leads to thoughtful dynamics and friendships. And I think that she actually brought a level that maybe Shirla, Jaleeza, and I have been missing because we have been watching it from day one. She definitely led with empathy, but she also was clocking it when it needed to be clocked. So I want to thank her again for joining us. Don't forget to purchase Hella Awkward. The link for Hella Awkward will be located in the show details. Also, thank you to Shirla and Jaleeza who have been holding it down with me for every single episode of Summer House. We have one more episode of the Summer House recap, which is part 2 of the reunion. But like we said last week, we had such a blast doing that this is not the end of summer. It's the end of Summer House, but this is not the end of the recaps with Shirla and Jaleeza. There will be other times where I'll bring them on. If you have suggestions on things that you want us to recap or things that you want us to talk about it, just don't forget to leave us a comment on the YouTube and we'll make a video and we'll talk about it. We'll pop off about it. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you back here for part 2 of the Summer House reunion. Oh, wait, forgetting something. What does Pia always say? Oh, yeah, Papa!